Cowboys have brought in four-time Pro Bowl free agent running back Dalvin Cook for a visit. Cook has averaged 92 yards from scrimmage over his career, says he feels the best he has in years. His cutdown day in the NFL. For the Cowboys, some of the biggest names let go thus far: offensive lineman Josh Ball, tight end Peyton Hendershot, and linebacker Darius Harris.
Joe Reinagle.
For the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Tuesday afternoon. Glad to have you along. If you're listening, appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube,
I'm not there.
Reinagle will soon be on the screen.
I'm getting there.
San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel.
Yes.
You know, show starts every day at 2 o'clock.
It does, but, I got so much more to do than everybody else. It's just, I carry this place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm getting there, though. It's happening.
It is funny. I was talking to somebody earlier today about my daily schedule. And because football season is coming up, and one of the things that will happen when we get to the high school football season, which starts Friday, Judson, right? I get to the stadium around noon.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've got it set up, and I'm just always thrilled when we're not in studio because the crap allergies in this place, in our great studio. But you get there and you get set up and you're ready to go. And last year during football season, we were on at 2, so I had to get there at noon. In the old days, I would get there around 1:30 or 2 o'clock when we went on at 4. And we've been at 2 o'clock for over a year now, and I'm still not quite used to it.
It comes up fast.
It really does.
It does. It comes up really fast. But I'll take the trade-off because we're at 6.
Yeah, well,
and that's
or 11:30, and and being on that committee, and it's like, all right. The good news is, like, the mayor and other people are in there. They all have tight schedules, so those meetings run fast.
Well, you realize the quarterback club is next Wednesday too.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be there for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to prepare the show that day.
I don't know if we need one. But yeah, no, it's kind of one of those ways. And normally the quarterback club is on a Tuesday.
Normally it is.
And this one's on a Wednesday, and it's going to be a big quarterback club meeting because of the special guest that's coming in. So moving days to adjust for schedules, and it's like, I can't go to that one, guys. I've got the Hall of Fame thing.
That's too bad.
I'll
hold down the fort.
You'll hold down the fort.
I will.
You'll MC.
Yes.
Who's the guest?
Wade Phillips.
Oh, man.
Wade
Story
Phillips.
time with Wade?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you won't get done till 3 o'clock.
Know what? I'll join you for the second half.
Well, and that's, I mean, it's an honor to be on the Hall of Fame selection committee. To be on that committee is, there's not many in the city that are, was there 12 of us?
Well, now, wait a minute, because you got to tell me how this works. Now, when you meet with them next week, are y'all choosing the Hall of Famers?
Yes.
Because, I'm fortunate enough to get to have one of the votes for that.
Yes.
So I sent in my votes.
You send in your votes along with, there's about, I think, 75, 80 voters.
Because I just want to know who, if anybody I picked makes the cut.
I won't be able to tell you.
Well, I know that, but I remember a couple of them anyway.
But, so we look at all of the votes and, all the tally, and then, the committee ultimately picks.
Yeah.
So because the voters are idiots, as we all know in most elections. Not kid. But I
made some great selections this year.
But it is an interesting process and an honor. And then, of course, the class gets announced, I don't know, February.
Mm-hmm.
And then because all the stuff that goes behind the scenes. And so, and that's been on the calendar for months. And then the quarterback club, hey, it's football season. I can't MC that one. I've got this. And then I look at their schedule. There's all kinds of conflicts this year.
Absolutely.
But, and again, it's that time of year. If you are a football fan, especially if you love high school football, the San Antonio Quarterback Club is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's every week they get together. It's good lunch, generally good speakers. But that is the oldest quarterback club in the country. But it needs to get younger.
Well, it's getting a little younger.
It needs to get younger
gradually.
Right there. There needs to be new, younger faces showing up at those meetings and supporting the quarterback club, which ultimately is a fundraising arm for Gridiron Heroes.
Yes.
All the money that the San Antonio Quarterback Club raises goes to Gridiron Heroes. So, but it is fun just to kind of hang out. I mean, if you go to different networking events, add the quarterback club to your mix because, well, they're a lot more fun than, I don't know, some of the other clubs. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus that I'm not aware of, but
well, you just did.
It's not all suit and tie, and you feel like you're being sold by 17 different insurance agents
or
realtors.
That's true.
Yes.
No, it's fun. It really is. I look forward to that. So it's gonna be good to talk to Wade. But yeah, it's a busy week right off the Labor Day weekend, and we're gonna hit the ground running because it's pre-NFL week 1.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Dude, it is so. I am so excited about football season being here.
Me too.
And prepping for the first Friday game and re-going through Dave Campbell's, which of course you digest it when it comes out in June. Then you need your refresher course. And it's amazing what changes between when the magazine is printed, like Ty Hawkins deciding, I'm not going to stay at Johnson. I'm going to IMG Academy.
Yeah. I don't, I got my thoughts about that, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Reading what was written about, say, UTSA and Texas State and Texas A&M back in the spring to what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
That's great stuff. And, typically you have to wait a week to get a good matchup. I can't wait for this weekend's game between A&M and Notre Dame. And I'm always on the fence with Texas A&M because I guess if you push came to shove, I'm more of a Longhorn fan than I am an Aggie. So even though I won't live and die by either one, but normally the Aggies are they're down there. This week, my favorite team in the whole world.
Well, I mean, you look at this week, and I'm a Longhorn fan, and I'll root for A&M unless they're playing Texas. I've had more fun at A&M games
they're a blast.
Than going to Austin. I mean,
they're
just the tailgating scene, everything about there.
Yeah.
The traditions, I'm still very confused by with some of them at A&M, but that's the fun of going, right? But this week, definitely. And UTSA and Texas play at the same time. Texas has Colorado State.
Right.
I'll keep up with the score on my phone.
Well, UTSA's got Kennesaw State.
Yeah, but I can go to that game.
Yeah.
And sit in the air conditioning because it's going to be stupid hot.
That's going to be
fun. More importantly, I can go down there and tailgate and get on a bus at Crossroads.
Yes.
For $1 and change because apparently downtown this weekend. Now, Pledge, this is more up your alley than mine. I forget. I want to make sure I get it right. I got to pull up the email from because downtown is gonna be busy this weekend because there is the San Japan Anime Conference. What the hell is going to be going on downtown?
A lot of cosplaying.
Now, explain that.
People dressing up as their favorite characters from different animes.
Wow.
That doesn't help me.
Now, anime is just a cartoon, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But when this has happened before, and I get people do their own thing, but when you're walking around and you see somebody all dressed up, especially if they're kind of off by themselves, you just wonder what they're on. And then you see more of them. Some of them get very Right. Some of them are sexy, right? There's a, this is, this is very much, fetish like, right there, or to a degree, right? Is that fair? Like I said, it's more your world than mine, but
I wouldn't call it a fetish.
well, I'm guessing if you dress up in a costume and it's based off of a cartoon. No. I mean, we're not talking about Joe's foot fetish.
Right.
I mean, that's very different. But the dressing up, it's not quite like furries, but it's in that same category, right?
Yeah, it's like Halloween for certain events.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of that going on downtown. There's also going to be a football game going on. So you go down to you tailgate, you have some fun at the game, and then you've had a couple and you walk downtown and you see something. Don't freak out.
Well, I just want to know.
Also when means parking is going to suck downtown.
When you guys say sexy, what exactly are you talking about? I mean, I want to know.
You're going to see a lot of scantily clad ladies.
Really?
Dressed as cartoon characters, and unfortunately, scantily clad gentlemen.
Like Minnie Mouse?
No. It's not Disney characters.
Not Disney. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, depending on who is filling out that costume, it could be worth it.
Yeah, there's no shaming.
Well, there is. Because look,
there's no shaming, and in that world, I mean, more power to you.
And look,
if you've got the stones to wear that, whether you should or not, go for it, girl.
I mean, it's like we have a lot of fun on this show, and I talk about Speedos, but I would never be wearing a damn Speedo because you wouldn't want to see that. And there's some people that just can't pull off certain things. I mean, you've seen these like spandex pants that some people should wear, some shouldn't.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
I mean, but those that are wearing it that you think shouldn't, they've got the holy cow Google image. What did Pledge just throw on the screen?
Sexy Demon Slayer is one of those. How about that?
Funny, that's what Pledge was last year for Halloween. That's how he knew exactly where to go.
Sexy Demon Slayer.
Remember his eye issues earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was playing.
How about that? Boy, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope the game's a blowout, so everybody can walk downtown and see the Sexy Demon Slayer. I was gonna say dragon, right? Is there a Dragon Slayer?
Well, to a degree, that's the goal, isn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah. If you nickname yours.
I've never called it a dragon. Other things maybe, but not a dragon.
Oh, wow. Look at that. We got a poll.
Oh, we got a poll.
Should Joe get involved in cosplay?
Now, is that short for costume play?
I would assume.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
look at that.
Cosplay.
Genius. Joe Reinagel. Should he nickname it Dragon so he can have a Dragon Slayer?
Yes. I think maybe I should. If I wasn't happily married, that might be a trip downtown just to kind of hang out. Maybe I'll put a costume on with a nice sword and walk around downtown and check out some of the demon slaying.
You don't have to. You don't have to be single. I mean,
no,
no, not necessarily. I mean, you can use something like that to rev things up.
Rev things up. So I should have Maggie dress as a demon slayer.
I mean, whatever it takes. I mean,
yeah. She looked pretty good in that.
The answer is she would look great.
Yes.
Not pretty good.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is
How about
fun.
Dalvin Cook coming to the Cowboys in for a visit?
Does he like demon slayers?
Well, I mean, he's in Dallas this weekend, not San Antonio, but
he should come to San Antonio.
Can he be a member of the Dallas Cowboys? Let's talk about what the Cowboys are doing coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chungla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by England, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
Make sure you select Twin Peaks for your fantasy football draft party. Stay cool under pressure with 29-degree draft beers, bites for the whole team, plus a $50 bonus card for the commish and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com for more info.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Nigel, why are you wearing a backpack?
I'm going back to school.
Folks, when your AC decides to flunk out or your home's plumbing is stuck in detention, you don't have to worry. At Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC, and Heating, our technicians are certified with all the latest technology and can fix any plumbing or AC issue fast and at a fair price because you deserve A-plus service.
Gotta go, Joel. We're studying paper mache. I might have to pull an all-nighter.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 885-898-M16004.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 7 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Awesome Tickets is your personal ticket broker. Big games, big concerts, big events. Need tickets? Stay local and call Awesome Tickets. Stop paying all those crazy fees on ticket apps. Awesome Tickets has your tickets for all the sports, concerts, any city, any event. Avoid the ticket app fees. Since 1994, Awesome Tickets is local and veteran owned. You deserve Awesome Tickets. Call 210-226-5136 or online at awesometix.com. That's awesometix.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. The Aggies take on the Notre Dame Leprechauns, presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pregame at 5:30 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. On Twitter, Instagram, at Joe Reinagle 210. Tweet at me, at Jason Minix. The station, at SA Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're not, you can find us. Just search San Antonio Sports Star on YouTube, and you can find us there on one of these days where it's cut down day in the NFL. So you're going to hear and see a lot of reports that so-and-so has been released, so-and-so has been released. And then you also might get so-and-so was released an hour ago, but now he's been traded. So he wasn't actually released. He was going to be. And that's what's just happened with the Dallas Cowboys, according to Tom Pelissero. Instead of releasing tight end Peyton Hendershot, they have actually traded him to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2026 conditional 7th-round pick.
Well, boy, that's better than getting cut, I guess, completely. But I mean, you got to figure that Kansas City might have seen that. So, well, let's call Dallas and maybe we'll throw them a bone.
Well, and again, a late 7th-round pick like that. Learn from Travis Kelce. Good Lord, you're going to a Super Bowl team. And, you got Joe's Barbecue there. Go get the burnt ends, Peyton Hendershot at Joe's. But a team like Kansas City, and the reason you trade a late pick like that is you don't have to battle through waivers. Because honestly, I'm a little surprised Hendershot is on this list, but then I'm not because he's got to stay healthy. But a numbers game, he's out. So instead of hoping you get him if he clears waivers, you make the trade to get him. And Kansas City obviously valued what he offers. And so for him, he lands on a Super Bowl contending team.
So I would say Hendershot won that trade.
Well, I mean, he still has a job.
Exactly.
Although I don't know if he wasn't going to get a job anyway. But for a 7th-round pick, it's not like anybody else was trying to get Hendershot before he was actually released, because maybe you would have seen it go to 6. But Kansas City didn't want to have to deal with the waiver wire. And, of course, the defending Super Bowl champions, what did they get? The last waiver claim because of where they finished. So smart move by Kansas City. And for the Cowboys, you get an extra pick.
For a guy you were just going to release anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's a win-win all the way around, especially for Hendershot. If he can stay healthy. I was looking at the Chiefs' depth chart, and all transparency, I've been keeping up with the Chiefs' cuts, but they do have 3 other tight ends on their depth chart behind Travis Kelce. So I'm assuming 1 or 2 of those guys are going away.
It's possible. And again, if they gave up a granted 7th-round pick, you'll see. I mean, trying to keep up with what the Cowboys are doing, that Bowser guy, there's reports that the Cowboys are interested in him. But they did release Carl Lawson, who they just signed. So if they release Lawson, Bowser adding him certainly makes sense. There's reports that they're going to add another linebacker and Brock Morganson. And so they let some go. Hopefully some of those guys, they can re-sign to the practice squad. Other guys, you're just done. And who's available, because I'm still looking at running backs. And I'm mixed on the news yesterday that they bring in, he's there now. So they are bringing in or brought in, however your English teacher would approve, Dalvin Cook for a visit. Hasn't signed yet.
Right.
Has to take a physical. Of course he's going to say he's in the best shape of his life.
That's what he said.
Of course. He's on a job interview. Man, I'm in great shape.
He looked good.
Let's put out a workout video. I would prefer a younger running back, because some of those will get released. But as I've maintained all offseason, the Cowboys' leading rusher isn't on the roster right now.
Well, it ain't Dalvin Cook either.
Well, I mean, could it be?
No.
I mean, would you be more comfortable with a Dalvin Cook or a Malik Davis? Would you be more comfortable with a Dalvin Cook or a Deuce Vaughn?
Well, without a doubt, either one of those guys, yes. But Deuce Vaughn or Malik Davis is not going to be your leading rusher. Zeke Elliott is going to be. That's your guy. That's who Jerry wants. That's who it's going to be unless he just can't do anything.
Well, then why are you bringing in a 29-year-old Dalvin Cook?
Because of the guys you just mentioned, Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis. That's who you're looking at.
What is Zeke, 30, right? He's
30, yeah.
Yeah, right? He's 29. So is Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook didn't play a lot last year, although
he was hurt. Yeah,
he was hurt. And when he did play, it's not like it was bad, but he was behind an awful offensive line. Yeah.
See, I just don't know who else is out there that you think would come in and automatically be your starting running back. Even if you said a younger guy that's been cut, if somebody else doesn't want him, Why would the Cowboys?
Well, it's the numbers game.
Well, especially to be a starting running back.
Well, and again, I do think, and I might be proven wrong on this, I don't know that Zeke is your bell cow running back this year. The fact that he didn't play at all in the preseason concerns me a little bit, because are they saving every bit in his tank for the regular season? I mean, they might look good in September, and so does Dalvin Cook, but I'm worried about January, December.
Well, dude, Dak Prescott didn't play in the preseason.
No.
You're worried about his gas in the tank?
No, he doesn't play in the preseason or postseason. I mean, that's proven. But he's not at that age where the tread is off the tires like a running back. Running back hits 30 and they fall off the cliff, right?
I agree with that.
So comparing Dak and Zeke to not playing in the preseason doesn't make sense to me, because they're completely different positions and players and what they're asked to do.
Well, you could say that, but it makes no sense. I mean, Patrick Mahomes played in the preseason.
Yes, but
so I'm just saying.
But that's on coaches and their philosophy.
I get it.
I mean, Matt Stafford didn't play in the preseason. So, I mean.
Well, Matt Stafford's what, 36?
Each coach has their philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy doesn't play quarterbacks. But when you look at other positions, most of those guys played except Zeke. Is there a reason they kept Zeke out? Now, when we saw Zeke in Oxnard, he looked pretty good.
At times.
At times. He showed some burst. I also saw him running through one of those gadget things,
And got hit in the package.
Exactly. He got hit in the nuts, and he went down like an old man, as I think we all would.
We all would.
Which made me question his current awareness. You got to protect things. No, all kidding aside, bringing in a Dalvin Cook, he's a name. But is he any better than Zeke right now? So basically you have two Zekes. When I look at a Deuce Vaughn or a Royce Freeman, I know they're going to contribute at least on the special teams if Royce even makes the team. Dalvin Cook isn't playing special teams.
No.
Zeke isn't playing special teams.
So I think this, to me, says more about a guy like Rico Dowdle. Maybe he's just not the guy that the Cowboys thought that he would. I don't think Malik Davis is going to make the team anyway, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to from the get-go, because I think Royce Freeman would be a better running back than a Malik Davis. But again, if you keep a Royce Freeman, you bring in a Dalvin Cook, and you have a Zeke Elliott, it's three guys that are identical, basically, running styles. And you need somebody with a burst, somebody that can bounce it off and make a big play. And I'm not sure that any three of those guys, although Dalvin Cook, like Zeke Elliott, they were pretty damn good at one time.
It does tell me, though, that the day before cutdown day, as they're making decisions, if they're bringing in a running back for a physical, that their concerns about the running back room are very much like mine.
Absolutely. Like everybody's.
Well, I mean, it's they're bringing in, all right, what do we have? What's available? Who's the best guy that's available right now that doesn't have a job? The idea of Dalvin Cook, if he could be what he was, but it's the same with Zeke. I mean, it's a big name. Fans get excited, but what does he have left in the tank? I mean, between Zeke and Dalvin Cook, do we even have a half tank of gas? Right?
That's a good question.
And if they're splitting carries and truly going running back by committee, maybe you can get through. Last time the Cowboys tried a position group by committee, it was wide receivers, and they realized early on, this ain't going to work.
Well,
and they made the trade for Amari Cooper.
And again, you don't know exactly what Jerry and Steven were thinking. If I recall, going way back to the draft, there was a guy from Florida State available when the Cowboys picked in the third round.
Yep.
Trey Benson. And I, for the life of me, did not understand why they didn't snag this guy when they did that. Now, I think they drafted Nealon with that third pick, and it looks like maybe they hit on that. But I'm just saying, that's Jerry's fault. That's all the GM's fault, or Mike McCarthy, or a combination of everybody, that they want to go into the season with a running back room that looks like this, and you're going to bring in guys that somebody else has either cut or a guy that's a retread. Either way, You can't feel comfortable about that.
When you and I both were thinking there'd be a running back between the 3rd and 5th rounds.
Yes.
And the fact that they didn't do it. Post-draft shows, go back and listen in the audio vault at sasportstar.com, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. And you can find the shows where we were bitching when we talked to, was it Steven after and Will McClay, why no running back? And I remember Will McClay, at the time we were following our board. We're staying true to our board.
Yes.
Now, Nealon looks like he's a great pick. And if he turns out that, and you didn't get a running back there, if Trey Benson ends up being a Hall of Famer, and but that's the draft every time. But they never addressed running back. The year before it was Deuce Vaughn, which again, did they really address running back? What they did get though, with Deuce Vaughn a year ago,
he is gadget juice.
Yeah, they got gadget juice.
They did,
not a running back.
They did. That may be the only reason Deuce Vaughn makes this team. Is because he can help out on special teams. He's not going to run the football, or if he does, it's going to be few and far between. So, look, the Cowboys have put themselves in this position. It's the same with the quarterback position. Why you're not drafting a quarterback at least every other year just to have a guy in the house. And I know Jerry's thinking, Trey Lance could have been that guy, and that's their draft pick, and yada, yada, yada. But it's just, some things baffle me. The Cowboys are really good at drafting offensive linemen.
Yep.
They're great at it. It's just too bad they're not that great at drafting everybody else.
Well, I mean, they've drafted well. I can't, that's such an unfair statement. I mean, when you look at drafting CeeDee Lamb, and they didn't need a CeeDee Lamb when they did.
They did.
But look at what they've got there, getting Trayvon Diggs where they got, even a Deron Bland. I mean, some of their late round picks that are turning into quality players. For the most part, the Cowboys have done a really good job drafting over the last 10 years. A couple years ago, some misses with the Taco Charltons of the world, or, there are misses, but every team has those. But overall, the Cowboys have drafted well. They just don't seem to draft well for what we think they need.
I don't think it's what we think they need. I think it's we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
The fact that you're bringing in a Dalvin Cook.
Well, I think, but is that part of their overall plan, which would be different than my plan if I were running that? Different than yours. Do I need to draft a running back, or will I be able to go find one later? Running backs have become somewhat disposable. Now, you look at like the Lions and other teams with good running backs, and you realize just how valuable they are, especially in January football. You see Green Bay, but the Cowboys putting their resources in other areas and not in the running back room. I'm still mad. You're still mad that they didn't go get Derrick Henry. They have the money to get a Derrick Henry. They just didn't want to spend money on a running back.
Well, so it tells me that the season's going to come down to Dak Prescott's arm. As much as Mike McCarthy wants to preach running the football, he still hasn't done that since he made that statement. So Dak's going to throw the ball 30 to 40 times a game. That's the way it's going to be. CeeDee Lamb, that's why it was big to get him signed. And you've got a handful of misfits in your running back room. And that's what it is. And even if they signed Dalvin Cook, did they really improve the running back room? I'm not sure. And we won't know till the season starts. But my guess now would say maybe a little.
Maybe a little. You have a veteran in there that maybe you trust more than you do a Malik Davis. And again, I am honestly surprised that Malik Davis is still around. I'll go back 2 years ago. Tony Pollard in that San Francisco game, breaks his leg, and they didn't go to Malik Davis.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't trust him. Last year, everybody thought it was going to be Malik Davis, and they go Rico Dowdle. And although Malik has gotten better, seems to be getting better, but at the same time, just yeah, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So, I think that's yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of fans are excited and because it's a name you recognize.
I guess. Are people excited? I
don't know.
I thought Dalvin Cook. I mean, we were talking about him coming in last year before the Jets signed him. and the Cowboys passed on him. He was hurt. He got hurt and is recovered from that. And as I look at Tom Pelissar's tweet right now, man, he can throw that medicine ball against the wall.
Yeah.
Man, if he could just do that on the field.
Yep. He looks good doing it.
He looks like he's in great shape. But I just don't know if he's certainly, in my mind, not the answer to the Cowboys' running game problems.
Yep. But we'll see what they end up doing. We'll follow the list of cuts, and then when the Cowboys send out the official list, we'll let you know. And even that won't be official because some of those guys will get re-signed to practice squad or
3:00, right? Yeah.
Yep. So we'll let you know. I know the Blitz on Thursday is going to be live out at 49 Cigars in Stone Oak. Come out, hang out with us, enjoy the show with a nice premium cigar. You can even BYOB.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Thursday, 2 to 6, the Blitz at 49 Cigars at the Villages in Stone Oak, which is up to 81. You know where it is.
Sure, yeah.
49 Cigars.
49
is where the Blitz will be this coming Thursday.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I can have a stogie on the air.
You can.
Sure.
Although Greg Shelton's going to be very mad at you.
He is?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't like cigars?
It's the cigar smoke that's going to linger on the equipment.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Uh-huh. Well, during the break.
When we're in a cigar spot, we're going to smoke cigars. That's what we do.
Yes.
That is what we do.
All right.
That works. We'll talk more NFL cuts coming up. Cowboys aren't the only ones making moves. The Texans let go of a former Cowboy today.
They did.
Yeah, we'll dive into that coming up on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. Cut day is done. What do the Cowboys' final 53 look like?
And let's look at the other 31 teams, see if any of their trash could be Dallas's treasure. We'll talk about it at 6. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Attention Roadrunner fans, get ready for an electrifying season of UTSA football. Season tickets are on sale now, starting at just $90. That's right, for only $90 you can catch all the action, all the touchdowns, and all the excitement at the Alamo Dome. Bring your family, bring your friends, and join the fun as we cheer on our UTSA Roadrunners to victory. Don't miss out on the best deal in town. Get your season tickets today and be a part of the Roadrunner family. Visit GoUTSA.com to secure your seats now. UTSA football, it's more than a game, it's an experience. Go Runners!
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your...
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
It's football season, and you know the best place to watch games is at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road, with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. College, pro, the games are on at the Roo. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minnick. Our fall golf tournament coming up on September 30th out at Olympia Hills. Get your foursome signed up at sasportstar.com. It's $100 a person if you sign up as a foursome, $120 if you sign up as an individual. The Fall Golf Classic benefiting San Antonio Sports, presented by the Loves of Jesse Hernandez, Flight by Yingling, and Jim Beam.
You know what I like is when we start getting updates as to how that thing's going.
Yep.
Because we will. And Nick Trey, our promotions guy, will let us know, well, we've got X number of teams left, or this is happening. And it's exciting.
It's fun.
It's exciting.
We're going to be doing our show out at Olympia Hills September 12th.
Yeah.
Which, because they're in the process of redoing all their greens and a lot of renovations out there. So that weekend, starting on the 13th, their grand relaunch event. So we get to go out there a little early and play before everybody else.
Looking forward to that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
they're going to do a scramble that night. Yeah,
okay.
right after the Blitz.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Although I think they're going to start scramble at 5:30, so you can't play in it.
I can't?
No.
I'll just knock off early.
What else is new? Extra innings will start early that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We'll see what's going on. All right, so lots of cuts and around the NFL, and I don't know. I mean, you look at the Titans getting rid of a first rounder from a couple years ago in Caleb Farley, but that's a guy that could never stay healthy.
Right.
And so as we talk about, Jerry and drafting, and here's a first round pick that didn't work out for a variety of reasons. That happens throughout the league. Bailey Zappi, released by the New England Patriots. Probably the bigger names out there. Case Keenum, though, goes on IR for the Houston Texans.
Done for the year. So Davis Mills, fans hated that guy. Davis Mills, the enemy. We got to get rid of this dude. Now all of a sudden, he's one snap away from being the quarterback of the Houston Texans.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you look at Case Keenum and you wonder, as old as he is, mid-30s,
yeah,
is that going to be it for him? And when does he start his coaching career? He played a lot in the preseason, but he aggravated a foot injury and is now done for the year.
Done for the year.
It'd
be interesting to see. They also got rid of Noah Brown, former Cowboy wide receiver. The Texans did, so he's out. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Bailey Zappi's a guy that will land somewhere, although it's kind of difficult if you didn't make it in New England, as bad as that team's been since Brady left. It's going to be tough to make it anywhere else. But the guy, you remember watching that dude against UTSA?
Kentucky, yeah.
Oh my gosh, he could sling it.
He's from South Texas. I mean, you want to root for a guy like that, and he is one of those. It's possible that what's the word I'm looking for? He just needs an opportunity. Will Grier, I think, is getting released. He had opportunities in Dallas, and then you realize just how tough it is to make it. You look at the Denver quarterback situation, and they've got three guys that could be starters in the league, but not good starters, not great starters, right? And they're going with their rookie. It, that's the interesting thing this time of year.
You never know, right? Who's going to step up and who's not. I think Bo Nix, though, is a guy that's had plenty of experience. You talk about a Trey Lance or even a Bailey Zappi, but a Trey Lance in particular. Bo Nix, he played a lot of football in college. And so in an offense that is very NFL-like. So he's I root for that guy. And I think that the Broncos criticized during the draft a little bit by some for moving up to grab Bo Nix, but they did. And now it looks like it's paying off, at least early on.
When you trying to follow all these different cuts trackers, which is just weird to like, who got fired today? Frank Gore Jr. from Buffalo. Now, in Dallas, I just said a little while ago, I want a younger running back. Would you take a flyer on Frank Gore Jr.?
I'm not. The reason, I guess you could take a flyer on him if that's what you want to do, but what else does Buffalo have that they got rid of Frank Gore Jr.? They got nothing.
Well, don't they have Dalvin Cook's brother?
Seriously. So that to me is worrisome. If he can't make it in that Buffalo Bills running room, what's going to make the Cowboys running room any better if they were to snag him?
Well, is he better than what you think you have? As you start looking at running backs that could be available and what, like I look at like Cleveland released Foreman, Robbins, Saber. They released all kinds of running backs today. I don't want any of them. But you start looking and you go, all right, who's available? Who is out there that you think could help your team? Is a Frank Gore Jr. And I remember watching him in college a couple times and watched him play in person against UTSA. He's not his dad, which is always you compare him to his dad, but I mean he ran the ball well. What went on in Buffalo? And it could be scheme. I know the Houston Texans have a running back that in Pierce that you go, is it scheme? And they've got an Akers guy that they're good, so they can let a good guy go that just isn't working in their system. Would you rather have a young Frank Gore Jr. or an old Dalvin Cook? And is Frank Gore Jr. better than what you currently have in Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis?
Again, it's just worrisome because I look at what Buffalo has at running back. They got James Cook, but after that, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, and Frank Jr. couldn't make that cut. So that's worrisome to me. I mean, it truly is. So, but again, it could a lot of times a fresh start, a new scheme does a body good, so to speak. I just think that the Cowboys honestly have turned into a team that is going to throw the football 75% of the time. The running game is just out. And that's why maybe it's not that important to them that they find a running back or whatever the case may be. But I think they've got their offense. Mike McCarthy wants to throw the football.
Well, and again, that's where I think Zeke Elliott is very beneficial because he's such a great blocker. And with two rookie offensive linemen likely on the opening day starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys, having that protection in the backfield is good. Dalvin Cook also a good blocker, and maybe that's why they are looking at him. Remember last year, early on, and one of the concerns when the Cowboys moved on from Zeke was could Tony Pollard handle the blocking? Tony Pollard got better as the year went on as a blocking running back and helping in the pass game, although I don't think he got a lot of credit for his improvement in that area. But if the Cowboys, although didn't they get rid of Kellen Moore because he didn't run the ball enough?
Yes,
for
they
Mike
did.
McCarthy's
That's exactly right. Yes.
So if what you're saying is now situational running was more of the issue, I think, for Mike McCarthy. It's when they didn't run the ball. Sometimes, you might have to sacrifice a series and run the ball just to get your defense some rest. I think that is what Mike McCarthy was more referring to than overall run plays versus passing plays, because there are times you have to run the ball just to help your defense.
Well, sure, and not only that, to keep your quarterback from getting killed.
Yeah, but but I don't think Kellen Moore did that because you listen to Mike McCarthy. I don't think it was the overall number of runs. It's when you weren't running the ball and you needed to. And because Jerry, the way he hired everybody, I guess Mike couldn't go tell him that.
It's going to be interesting to see whether they sign Dalvin Cook or not, what they do with Zeke. Because I honestly believe, as we sit right here today on August 27th, that Zeke Elliott's your number one guy. Zeke Elliott is going to get most of the carries for this football team. And I think they're at least going to give him a chance early. And I think he'll get 20-plus carries a game. Because I think that's what Jerry wants. Jerry's loyal. He brings Zeke back. And Jerry is loyal to a fault. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again. And I think that he is. And sometimes he's his own worst enemy when it comes to that. And I think it is, in my opinion, with Dak Prescott. I think it is with Zeke Elliott. And I think there's been a lot of players along the line that are the same way. And to me, loyal to a fault.
But when you look at available running backs that are getting released right now, San Francisco did release Matt Breida at one time. Okay.
Yeah.
The Rams released Boston Scott and Sir Roderick Thompson. Nothing.
Just like
yeah. New Orleans got rid of James Robinson.
Okay.
There's no names on there that excite you.
No.
And that's what you're going to get this time of year. Now, I'm going to hope that the Cowboys scouting department has more intel on whether these guys would be good fits for Dallas than what we think they are. But it seems like there's quantity and not quality.
I'm surprised, quite frankly, because the way I understood the report, Dalvin Cook was coming in last night. So the Cowboys brought him in yesterday, and I'm assuming he started working out, taking his physical, whatever the case may be, early this morning. I'm honestly surprised that we haven't heard something one way or the other yet when it comes to Dalvin Cook.
Well, to your point, I would like to think before he got on a plane, some sort of money was discussed, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Well, he can't expect much. I wouldn't think.
No, but you're not going on unless you kind of know. The other part is there some NFL rule where he can't sign yet because, where they got to make all these cuts official before they can add somebody to the roster. So that might be part of why there isn't any movement. Although you would think, as leaky as the Cowboys building is when it comes to news getting out, that we haven't even seen, if Vizco went well, Cowboys will sign him or plan to sign him or, any of those kind of reports coming out. But we also haven't heard, well, that didn't go well and he's going back to the airport.
Exactly. We have heard nothing. So we'll wait and see. Obviously, the Cowboys have not made all their cuts yet, at least that we've seen or have been reported. So, to fit Dalvin into the roster of the 53, maybe you have to get to that point first. That's a good point. So we'll see. As a Cowboy fan, you excited about Dalvin Cook? Are you?
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Comment on YouTube, the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Ryan, if we could get a poll up, are you excited about Dalvin Cook? Well, we can get a poll up pretty quick on YouTube if Ryan is listening.
Of course he's listening.
Or tweet us. It's a name.
He was very good at one time, obviously.
And last year, he just didn't get much opportunity, but the Jets, 4 plays into their season, went all downhill. So
yep, they did.
I don't want to judge Dalvin Cook off of last year alone and say there's nothing left, because I did see a pretty strong playoff run. The poll is up now. Are you excited for Dalvin Cook to sign with the Cowboys?
I'll be interested to see what this poll has to reveal.
And the question then becomes quickly, maybe excitement isn't the right word. Not that I want to change the poll right away. Do you think he is a better option than what the Cowboys have in the room? Although that won't be a fair question until we realize which running back lost a job to a Dalvin Cook.
I would have to say, just on the face of it, Jason, that yes, it is. It's an upgrade. Just on the face of it. If he's healthy, if he's 50% of what he was, he's a better option.
Well, improving the rosters, 365-day, 24-hour-a-day, 365 whatever.
Sure is.
All right, now Pledge just pulled up. Is this interesting? The highest graded rookie running back this preseason, according to Pro Football Focus, Frank Gore Jr., who was released by the Buffalo Bills.
I wonder why you release him then. There's got to be a reason.
Well, it's a numbers game.
But if he's playing that well in the preseason and you've got two other running backs that I've never heard of, why do you release him?
Well, again, highest rookie. So it's not like there are a lot of rookies. And how many running backs were taken this year? And, again, though, I mean, he's playing well. You look at him and is he a better option? Although he's a rookie, is he a better option if Buffalo cut him, and they did, or he's going to be released? Maybe they're hoping he'll clear waivers. They can sign him back to the practice squad. Maybe it's one of those wink, wink deals. We're going to let you go. And who knows? Maybe he sucks at special teams and the other guy doesn't. I don't know.
It just doesn't make any sense. If all of that, I mean, best running back in the rookie in the preseason.
And apparently 19 running backs were drafted.
There you go. Were they all released?
And Colby Holly on YouTube, you haven't heard of James Cook, Dalvin's brother? Yes, we actually talked about that.
I just mentioned that. Yes, I've heard of him.
But they have one. I mean, most teams have multiple running backs now. So,
well, they have two other guys that I haven't heard of. If you have, let me know.
Yeah.
But yes, James Cook is a good running back. Yes. But other than that, you need more than one.
Yeah.
And if Frank Gore Jr., best rookie running back on preseason, why'd they cut him?
Well, and again, if he's available, if you're the Cowboys, are you making phone calls?
I'd want to know why he was cut. That'd be my first question.
Yeah,
I'm Jerry.
This time of year, man, tough decisions are made and good players get let go.
Sure.
For whatever reason. A lot of times it's a numbers game in all of these. 90 go to training camp, 53 make the roster. Then you get the practice squad guys, but we'll see ultimately what happens. Indy Kalu will join us at 3:35. Talk some Texans with him and what it's like on cut down day in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because I know Indy was one of those who was always worried.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I mean, that guy played a long time in the NFL, but, he was always one of those guys that had to probably clinch you see somebody walking and you run the other way. So we'll talk to him about what today is like. Jason Kelce's doing just fine in retirement.
Yeah.
We'll explain coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chung Law, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic, happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Have you or a family member been arrested? The law office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, can help regardless of the legal battle you are facing, personal injury or criminal defense. Attorney Jesse Hernandez and his team are ready to fight for you. Calls are answered 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Call 210-807-8656 or visit JesseHernandezLaw.com. That's 210-807-8656 or JesseHernandezLaw.com. The law office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can upgrade your home with up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like Whirlpool. Enhance your kitchen with quality and convenience from Whirlpool, like the freestanding electric range with built-in air fryer and the tall tub dishwasher with third rack, all available at the Home Depot. Right now, shop Labor Day savings up to $1,500 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Smoky Moe's Texas Barbecue is the best neighborhood barbecue in San Antonio. Stop in for a signature chopped Baker potato. Pick up brisket, turkey, and mac and cheese for family dinner. Order freshly made breakfast tacos. Whatever you choose. Smoky Moe's Barbecue serves great tasting Texas barbecue fast and friendly. Tailgating? Order Smoky Moe's Barbecue for your perfect tailgate or game watching party. They'd love to see you at any area Smoky Moe's. Order for pickup or delivery at SmokyMoe'sBBQ.com. Smoky Moe's. The pit is lit.
Howdy, Ags. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, inviting you to watch all A&M games at the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road. Owned by Chip Ingram, class of 98, the Angry Elephant is known for their liberal cocktails at conservative prices and the best hot dog in Texas. Since 2012, the Angry Elephant's been the place to watch A&M, and this year is no different. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Rue Pub at 281 and Redland Road. The Angry Elephant. Like your car, love your Aggies. Gig 'em.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is cut-down day in the NFL, but the Cowboys have made a trade. They traded tight end Peyton Hendershot to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2026 seventh-round conditional pick. They've also brought in running back Dalvin Cook for a visit. This guy's averaged about 92 yards from scrimmage per game in his career. Says, though, he feels the best he has in years. Houston Texans have placed quarterback Case Keenum on IR. He's going to miss the entire season.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. It's Tuesday. It's cut-down day in the NFL. Interesting trades happening involving the Cowboys and Chiefs. The conditionals are in for that seventh-round pick.
Yeah?
Yep.
What are they?
The Cowboys will receive a seventh-round pick in 2026 if Peyton Hendershot is on their 53-man roster for 5 games this season or on their 46-man game day roster for 3 games this season. They will not receive a pick if either are not met.
Wow. Okay.
So that's that's the conditional part of the seventh rounder.
But take a shot, right? You were going to get rid of him anyway.
Yep. That's what it is. So you might get something for him. You might not, but you were going to release him either way.
Well, good for Hendershot if he can stay healthy. Who knows? I mean, you're on a team that again is projected to win the AFC, and you got an opportunity. So good for him.
Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
You know, while Peyton Hendershot is with the Chiefs, he should become really, really good friends with Travis Kelce.
I would.
I mean, he would get to meet
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Maybe. And, some of that money might fall out of his pocket. It's amazing the deal that the Kelce brothers are signing for their podcast. Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in football, is making more for his podcast than playing football.
That's incredible on the face of it right there. And for Jason, it's a pretty good retirement. benefit. But I've never heard. Have you ever heard of Amazon Wondery?
No,
I've never heard of it.
I believe though that's their global.
Is that what it
platform.
is? Okay.
Just reading about it, it says global distribution, and maybe it's Amazon. I really have no idea, but I think it's Amazon, but one of the offshoots of Amazon.
Yeah, I had never heard of that when I read the story earlier. Amazon Wondery, and let's face it, Amazon may be the only place that could pay $100 million to the Kelce brothers. Although that is a very entertaining podcast.
It really is, and the thing with their podcast, and they've done it for a long time. They've grown it the right way. Everything they've done with New Heights is right, but also they've got the personality for it.
Absolutely.
And not everybody, Micah, is going to be able to make that kind of money doing a podcast. And yeah, I think the connection to Taylor Swift certainly helps. I do wonder though, if you're the Chiefs, if you're Andy Reid, are you a little concerned about the focus of Travis Kelce? I mean, he is a pro's pro, but he was talking retirement at one point.
Right.
And the old saying, if you're thinking about retirement, you're already gone. Right.
Yeah.
And when you've now got a $100 million contract for your podcast, it's now no longer just a hobby and a fun thing to do with your brother. It is a job.
It's only 3 years, though.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year deal, which is crazy, the money that they're going to make for this thing. Yeah, and it's a great point, but I think the only reason Travis came back this year was because I think he thinks they've got a legit shot to make it 3 in a row.
Yes.
And so I think this is probably his last year anyway. Win, lose, or draw, I think Travis Kelce is done. But, good for him. Gosh, $100 million deal for 3 years.
Well, and again, don't know what all the commitments are that come along with that. All the back end things that you might have to do, stuff you might have to do with Amazon. You look at Jason Kelce's already got a couple of broadcasting gigs.
He does.
And so retirement starting off extremely well for him. For Travis Kelce, I mean, and again, I think he's a pro's pro. You see a lot of pro athletes that are able to have all kinds of other business ventures going on and still do their job at extremely high level. But if you're already thinking retirement and now you have this, and you've got that prenup sitting in front of you from Taylor, it's a lot easier now that you have this $100 million deal. And with that, I don't know what kind of staff that they have that out of that money that they've got to pay. You look at like McAfee, his big contract, but McAfee owns that company. Everybody on that show and the different guests is all coming out of that big pile of money that Pat McAfee is getting. So it's not like, Jason and Travis are each getting 50 million and putting that in their accounts. I mean, there's stuff, but still though, that's incredible.
It's incredible that somebody would pay $100 million for their podcast. So props to them. It's very entertaining. But I mean, just looking at the surface, and maybe it will get bigger, but it doesn't look like they've got a lot of people. They don't do a lot of stuff because it's 90% them.
Well, true. And so like, they don't have a cast of characters
Right.
like McAfee.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people watching, and they have taken a sports podcast and made it general market.
Yes, they have.
There are people's wives and moms that don't know squat about football that like watching the Kelces.
Yes, because they're entertaining.
Yep.
They talk more than just sports, which is cool.
Yes, it is. The Washington Commanders.
They're not the Commodores?
Can we hear that clip from Drew Pearson from earlier today on ESPN? This is just funny.
That would be better than the Commanders.
You want to call them the Commodores?
The Commodores. You get Lionel Richie flown in and sing the national anthem and stuff. Be good.
Well, the Washington football team, they now have a new stadium sponsor. Like, it's Northwest Federal Credit Union, and the new stadium there is going to be called Northwest Stadium.
Yes. That's a financial company, right?
That's credit union.
Yeah. Okay. Credit union. Northwest. Why do they call it Northwest Credit Union
They're
Stadium?
just calling it Northwest
I
Stadium.
get that. I understand.
I don't know. It's like Frost Bank is just Frost. That's what they're calling it. Now we're going to be there for the Army Navy game this year.
Oh, that's right.
He's going to be in that stadium.
Yeah.
Presented by USAA.
Well, they're going to redo it as well, right?
What, the stadium?
I think that the plans are, not by the time we get there, obviously, but the plans are to refurbish that thing.
Well, I did see that they tore out a bunch of office space and made that a giant suite with a buffet and open bar for $7,500 a ticket.
Oh,
and
wow.
They sold out like that.
How about that?
Yeah. So there seems to be some excitement now that little Danny Snyder is gone in the DC area for fans that are coming back and spending money now at Northwest Stadium. Drew Pearson, our good friend, was on ESPN radio earlier today, and he's talking about Washington.
The Commodores, they got Dan Quinn. He raided the Cowboys. He's got a bunch of Cowboys.
Now, I don't know that if Drew Pearson did that by accident, by purpose, if he just refuses to call them the Commanders.
With Drew, you never know, right?
With Drew, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
With Drew, you don't know, but I love it.
I love the Commodores. They should change their name to that.
Well, it's probably copyrighted.
Well, it might be.
Yeah.
Well, they could probably pay them. David Moore just released a list of guys.
All right.
And what's interesting, Royce Freeman is gone.
Okay.
As is Malik Davis. Both of those guys are out.
Okay. So Dalvin Cook, are you in?
Could be. Now, and help me with this because I'm not sure the difference. When you look at Malik Davis, he was waived.
Uh-huh.
Freeman was released. So waived, does that mean you can bring him back if you need to?
I don't know.
That's according to David Moore, Dallas Morning News. David? Yes. That's what he says. Malik Davis is gone, as is Royce Freeman. Both are no longer Dallas Cowboys. So I thought that was interesting when we're talking about Dalvin Cook. So who does that leave? You still got Deuce Vaughn, who's still in the running back room, as is Rico Dowdle and Zeke Elliott. And that's all you've got other than Hunter Lupke.
Yeah, Hunter makes the 53, Rico and Zeke.
So
and Deuce. Deuce is on there according to a John Machota tweet.
So there you go. And that has to be special teams. Does anybody honestly think that Deuce Vaughn did enough to become a real running back?
He is gadget juice.
Yes, exactly.
But the answer is yes. They ran him that way. And when you look at what Royce Freeman, bit of a surprise. So you put him as a notable cut because the way Stephen Jones talked to us that first week in Oxnard when we sat down with him on that first Monday we were there, you walked away wondering if Royce Freeman was going to end up being RB1.
Yeah, he was,
and he's RB cut.
Yeah.
So, but also Stephen kept saying core special teams guy. At least with Deuce, you're going to get special teams work out of him, at least in the return game. Notable cuts for the Dallas Cowboys include Malik Davis, Josh Ball. Thank you, Jerry.
Wow.
Justin Rogers and Julius Wood. Notable players who made the cut: Deuce, Buddy Johnson, Maka Umo, Israel, Matt Walesko, and Tyra Sweet, and Ryan Flournoy is there.
Now that's a guy that had a good preseason.
Yep.
Flournoy. Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb not on the official 53 because he's not active to go on there yet. But there are pictures of him. Boy, a big old hug to Mrs. Jones and smiling as he's signing that contract. Let's talk about it. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro, especially if you need caps made. Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps, the Katie caps, Nike Cap America, to name a few. If you need your logo on a nice golf shirt, a fishing shirt, Sam has all the big name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. You need t-shirts, screen printed, go see Sam. If you need uniforms, Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from all kinds of industries, medical, restaurant, construction, schools, leagues, just to name a few. Sammy is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big, and nobody has better prices. Call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
San Antonio's Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chungla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by England, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Nigel, why are you wearing a backpack?
I'm going back to school.
Folks, when your AC decides to flunk out or your home's plumbing is stuck in detention, you don't have to worry. At Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC, and Heating, our technicians are certified with all the latest technology and can fix any plumbing or AC issue fast and at a fair price because you deserve the A-plus service.
Gotta go, Joel. We're studying paper mache. I might have to pull an all-nighter.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 885-898-M16004.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
This is the famous footwear that makes us actually want to go back to school, with the newest styles from all your favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. You'll find everything kids want, all at prices parents can appreciate, because you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Famous Footwear even has fit experts in store to make sure you get the right size every time. So for the perfect fit, make it famous. Plus, right now, buy one, get one half off when you shop your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
After a total renovation of their greens, Olympia Hills invites you to their grand relaunch event the weekend of September 13th. Olympia Hills has renovated all 18 greens to enhance your golfing experience. Come and enjoy the dramatic elevation changes and a layout that's been strategically designed for your enjoyment. Follow on social media for updates and witness the transformation of your favorite course. Discover premier golfing in Bexar County with the grand relaunch the weekend of September 13th. Book your tee time now at OlympiaHillsGolf.com. How about them Cowboys? Jim Beam bringing fans together across Cowboys country. We rise as one in Texas in handed-down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam highballs on game day in Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. The Aggies take on the Notre Dame Leprechauns, presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pre-game at 5:30 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're one of those dumber types, gets pissed off every time you hear that, I want to hear from you. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You got to chuckle every time I hear that.
I laugh every time,
The
too.
Aggies and the Leprechauns.
I hope the Aggies just kick their ass.
Absolutely. Listen to that game on Saturday starting at 5:30, brought to you by the Angry Elephant and Ewald Kubota, the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, who will join us Friday.
Yep.
Friday, the Blitz is going to be live out at the I-10 Ice House. Kick back, enjoy, start the weekend. Well, you're going to be out there. I'll be at a high school football stadium. I'll be over at Heroes.
Well, that's good.
You're
I'll be
going to
at
be
the I-10 Ice
drinking
House.
beer over there at the
I
I-10
will
Ice
be,
House.
yes.
From 2 to 6. So good time at the I-10 Ice House. Of course, football Friday night. Johnson and Judson. Pre-game starts at 7, kickoff at 7:30. Our high school game of the week, energized by Hill Electric, Frost Bank, and NCE General Contractors.
Happy to see high school football kicking off. And then again, a full slate of college football this weekend.
Your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
And even the Dallas
Yes.
Cowboys a week after that.
Yes.
Yes. Jerry didn't want us to forget about Dallas.
Yeah, boy. No, he does not. He does not. And with college football kicking off this weekend, UTSA, 2:30 in the Alamo Dome. Now, they've already told us downtown's going to be kind of a mess because there's an anime conference going on. So, parking, you're highly encouraged to do park and ride unless you've already bought a spot. But you might spend a lot of time hunting for parking, knowing that you've got a convention that's expecting to have more than 15,000 people. Plus, you've got a football game where, based on past history, there should be a lot more than 15,000 people in the Alamo Dome.
Be, yes.
You know, while they announce they're expecting more than 15,000 of both, it'll be kind of embarrassing if UTSA is opening up to 15,000 people.
They're not. They'll do better than that. It's a brand new season. I mean, you got to go just to see who the starting quarterback is.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing.
Because right now only 4 people know who
That's
the starting
it.
quarterback is, according to what Jeff Traylor told us yesterday.
That's exactly
on
right.
the Blitz.
And he said you may have both of them out there until right before kickoff, so you just don't know.
Yes. Jeff Traylor said he knows.
He knows.
Both quarterbacks know.
Yep.
And the offensive coordinator.
That's it.
And according to what Jeff Traylor said yesterday on the Blitz, those are the only 4 people that know.
And that will be the only 4 people that know, because unlike some other teams, UTSA can keep secrets.
Yes.
They can.
Yes, they can. You know, it's 3:22 and OU still sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that as I compliment the Oklahoma Sooners.
Wow.
They are doing something very cool this year as they're trying to create a new tradition. And I'm the kind of guy, I'll give credit where credit is due, whether I like your team or not. And I'm not a fan of Oklahoma by any stretch. But Oklahoma, in trying to start new traditions and honoring one of the biggest OU Sooner fans that's ever lived in Toby Keith, they're going to start a new tradition that in between the 3rd and 4th quarters, they're going to do a Toby Keith sing-along at the stadium. Now, my question is, Toby Keith's most famous song is what? Should have been a cowboy.
Yes.
Can they play Should Have Been a Cowboy?
No. You can't play that at an OU game. That's the Oklahoma State Cowboys. You can't do it. You can't do it at all. So, but look, Toby Keith's got a lot of other songs, but that one you can't play. I'd be very disappointed and upset if they play that one.
Well, could you imagine the Oklahoma State types and, the sing-along as Toby Keith Should Have Been a Cowboy?
Yes. It'd be horrible. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bitter rivals.
Bitter rival.
Bitter.
But that's his number one song.
Well, it is.
And you think about like the Florida Gators always do Tom Petty. Virginia Tech does Enter Sandman. Wisconsin does the jump around. I think this is a cool idea for the Oklahoma Sooners. The question, though, is every game going to be different with a different song? Because that's the one thing. They've announced they're doing it, but they didn't announce a song.
Interesting. Well, they got to do more than one, but you can't do that one.
Should have been a Cowboy?
Can't do that
You
one.
can't do that, huh?
No.
That is just so bad.
They would get roasted if they play that song.
But isn't that Toby Keith? You're the country guy.
Well, yeah, I would say it's probably. But, yeah, you got Red Solo Cup. You got that one and this one, and you got a few others. There's a lot of songs out there that what's the one where
courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good one. And
I just looked up on my Apple Music. His most popular songs, according to the Apple Music, Should Have Been a Cowboy is number 1. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue is 2. As Good as I Once Was.
That's a great one.
That's a great song for Oklahoma football.
Yeah.
They used to be good.
Because they're going to suck this year.
I Love This Bar.
That's a good one.
How Do You Like Me Now?
Yeah.
Depends on the score, though. Now that they're in the SEC, I don't know if you can play How Do You Like Me Now if they're down at home.
Yeah, play that early.
Yeah. Beer for My Horses.
There you go. See, he's got a lot of big
I Want to
hits.
Talk About Me.
Uh-huh. But you can't play Should Have Been a Cowboy. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't do that. I don't care who you're playing. They will get roasted. And then Oklahoma State fans will they'll like have one up on them. Because they're going, yeah, you should have been.
Should have been a Cowboy.
That's right. You should have been.
See, in between the third and fourth quarters, they're playing this song?
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, as the college football season gets ready to kick off, there's one former coach who's gotten a boatload of money not to coach.
Yeah.
Itching to get back into coaching. Jimbo.
I miss the relationship. I know I miss practice. I mean, you miss the game and the competition. I mean, you want to go do that and get in the arena. There's only so many things you can hunt and fish and do all that stuff. And family time's been great. I will say that, because that's the new thing in college football that's really tough because of the new recruiting rules is time away from your family. But, you know, I'm still young enough that, you know, I'm gonna be ready to roll probably here pretty soon.
So how active are you going to be maybe this upcoming season in figuring to get back into the game?
I'm gonna keep my eye on it. I'm still gonna watch film. I do things. That's just what I do. Just the interest of what you do. I'm definitely going to be involved in that part of it. And then we'll see when the season ends if the right opportunities are there.
Now, it's his deal, his payoff. If he gets another job, does that end? Because if it does, I'm not coaching for another 10 years.
Well, he's gotten a lot of money, and he's tired of hunting and fishing. And even though he said he loves his family, it sounds like he's tired of family, or the family's tired of having him around.
That's it. That's it. Because you imagine his poor wife? Honey, what are we going to have for dinner? What? I mean, it's like, dude. So they're not going to know what the hell he's saying over there.
He's the only man on planet Earth that can do an hour coaches show in 7 minutes.
Exactly right. Yeah, the wife probably wants him the hell out of the house.
But you do wonder. I don't know the answer on his contract buyout if he has to give some back or sacrifice some money, but he's getting paid a whole lot not to be there, and he's just fine either way. Although coach is coach, and you know, you sacrifice the free money to go get another job that's going to pay you more. His agent clearly can get a buyout, but we'll see. I always wonder with some of these coaches, you know, you talk about your passion for coaching. Go find a high school and coach at.
Yeah,
you know, that wouldn't violate your contract, you know, whether it's a public school or a private school. But, you know, you don't have to deal with NIL. You got boosters, but it's a different world. But, you know, all these coaches, man, I just want to coach. I got the passion for coaching. Well, go teach some kids. You know, go do that and collect your millions from Texas A&M.
If, according to Tex Ags, Jimbo Fisher's settlement is, it doesn't matter who he works for. He gets it anyway.
Man, what a great agent.
Isn't that nice?
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Eddie, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? A couple of things, man. I actually am a Irish fan.
Oh, my gosh.
The promo doesn't get me angry. It's funny. It's almost as funny as the beatdown that Notre Dame's going to come down and put on the Aggies on Saturday. But couple of things on the CeeDee Lamb thing. You know what? I'm not as pissed on the contract. You know, good for CD. Unlike Micah, at least he shows up on the important games. Micah's nowhere to be found against a good team. So good for CD.
Good for CD.
All
I
right.
guess you forgot the drops he had in the first quarter against Green Bay.
Yeah, he had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Nobody
drive.
showed up in that game.
Nobody. Indy Kalu, he shows up every
does.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
and he will show up next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. It's called the HURT app, and it provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available in the App Store and Google Play. You can learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. Cut day is done. What do the Cowboys' final 53 look like?
And let's look at the other 31 teams, see if any of their trash could be Dallas's treasure. We'll talk about it at 6. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
The Twin Liquors dollar sale is almost here. We drop the price on all wine and spirits to the absolute lowest, then at $1. It's how we say thank you to our customers. Don't miss the dollar sale this Thursday through Saturday, only at Twin Liquors.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Football season is here. It's the greatest time of the year. Jason Minnick's here from the Blitz for UnderdogFantasy.com. You know, I've been playing Underdog for a long time now, and over 1 million fans got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. You, too, can join and win up to 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Getting signed up is easy. Go to the app or UnderdogFantasy.com and use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a highly discounted pick to use on your first pick'em entry, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to ncpgambling.org. Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR to claim your new customer offer of a Give Me First pick and your deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Get signed up now at UnderdogFantasy.com. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minnick.
Howdy.
Tuesday afternoon. Always fun when Indy Kalu stops by the program. He joins us now, the Texans legend, on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Indy, cut down day in the NFL, and I know you had a great long career, but these were the kind of days where you had to sweat a couple of times, man. What is it like for the players this time of year?
You know what? I like to joke a lot, but I'm not going to lie. This is a tough day because it does remind me of the times, and you know, I was cut twice, and I know how tough that is when someone's telling you your lifelong dream, you may not be able to fulfill it, or you may not be able to play anymore. And even when you're in a situation, Jason, when you know you're going to make the team, but you are grinding with, you know, guys for literally 10 weeks, 10, 11, 12 weeks, and you get to know their stories and you become close, and, you know, then they get the pink slip and you see them walking out, and part of you, you know, feels guilty for thinking to yourself, "Whew, man, you know, thank God it wasn't me." But at the same time, your heart goes out to them. So, you know, as I'm looking at the cut trackers around the league, I know it's tough. But what's cool is, you know, these are guys who are cut from one team. Another team may pick them up, and I don't know how good they feel about it, but they still have a chance to play in the UFL if they still want to continue that dream. So there are other avenues now to where these guys can continue their playing career.
You know, Indy, yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, Bill Belichick said this.
I was the guy. I was the Turk. I was Bad News Billy.
If his first job in the NFL, he was Bad News Billy. Who was the Turk for you? What kind of nickname? And is it true you saw that guy, you ran the other way, you hid?
Well, there's no hiding. We called him the Grim Reaper. So, and there's no hiding. And I'll remember my rookie year in Philadelphia, Lehigh University, we're all staying in the dorm rooms. And it was a little bit different. It wasn't where it was just this one day of cuts. They would cut. I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all followed football a long time, longer than I played. But, you know, they would have those cuts incremental, like throughout the entire training camp. So I remember just hearing that knock, you know, down the hallway, and you knew because it was early in the morning before the first practice, like, oh man, they just got somebody. They just got somebody. Then the later you get into training camp, you hear that knock more and more, and you would literally, it's almost like a horror movie. You have this big 6'4", 250-pound black dude laying in the bed with the blankets all the way up to his eyes, hoping he doesn't hear that knock on his door. And then it crosses over to the next dorm room, and you're like, oof, I survived for another day. So, you know, it was even more intense the way they did it back then. But I think now, obviously guys get cut throughout training camp, but it's just this one big cut down day. But back then they had like a cut of, and don't quote me on the numbers, but by a certain date you had to cut 10 guys, another date 15, and then you know had to finalize your roster at the very end of training camp.
You know, Indy, I can't even imagine, you know, what you go through and what you're thinking. Do you even sleep like the night before if you've made it all the way till the final cut? I can't even imagine. And if you're on the bubble, so to speak, I mean, can you even sleep? Is that all you're thinking about that entire night?
It's all you're thinking about. I mean, now it's still training camp, so you're so exhausted, you're going to sleep, but you try to, you know, you always hear people, mentors, coaches, parents, loved ones, hey, don't worry about what you can't control. So you try to tell yourself that, but just to be real, you're thinking, you're like, oh man, you know, I messed up on this play. Is that going to be the play that, you know, gets me cut? Or man, I had a nice play here. I hope coach saw it. But no, it definitely consumes all your thoughts until you hear it. And some guys know. I mean, if you're, an undrafted rookie, or you're low on the depth chart and you didn't even get any reps in the final game, you kind of see it coming. I don't know how many I would say or what percentage sees it coming, but there's a lot of guys who no, okay, it's just a matter of when they know they're going to get cut. But I will say this, looking at the Texans cut tracker, and it goes to show that this is a good team. There are some names that I was somewhat surprised, and some guys that, have done some good things in this league. When you look at a guy like Noah Brown, a guy like Desmond King, Andrew Beck, who was a fan favorite last year, for them to not make the team, it just lets you know that this roster is getting that much better.
Very, very true. Indy Kalua joining us here on the Blitz on Cut Down Day. Out of curiosity, and granted, you're so damn old, my friend, you didn't have cell phones back then and social media, but is it worse now, do you think, for these guys? Because you have all your friends that can text you, man, did you make it? Are you not? You're going to make it. Can I get some money from you? All that kind of stuff. Do you think it's worse now for players, especially when you get all the way to camp and there's one day that's just a massive bloodletting, as opposed to the old days where there were 2 or 3 different cut days to get rosters down?
Okay, yes, I'm old, but we had cell phones.
Yeah,
so
but those were those big
there.
brick phones. I mean, that's different. You weren't playing solitaire on that in the middle of the night waiting for the knock on the door.
Like Zach from Saved by the Bell, you remember that big brick? Yeah. No, but you know what? I think it's actually easier now because of social media, because your so-called friends or your associates, they see it right away. So, back in the day, you either had to look in the paper or you had to log on. So you would just go to your buddy like, hey, did you make it? But, now everything comes to your fingertips. So let's say you're a friend of, Desmond King, a cornerback who just got cut from the Texans. You see it. And if you're a good friend, you say, you know what, I'm going to wait for your, 2-3 days, then reach out to them. So I think it's probably easier now because your close friends aren't hitting you up right away after it happens. And they know it happens without you having to tell them.
Indy, this wasn't a cut, but some sad news as far as I'm concerned with Case Keenum going on IR, out for the season, we understand. The guy's 36 years old. Do you think this might be the end for Case?
I think it might be the end, but they definitely did him a solid. And similar to my last year with the Texans, when not to make this about me, but just to say, when I knew that I couldn't make it through the season and the GM was like, I got you. And I think with Case, with everything he's done for Houston, they said, hey, we got you. Wink, wink. You're going on IR for the year. What does that mean? You get paid for the entire season. So it's not just about money. And a guy who's accomplished as much as Case Keenum on the football field, he's a competitor first, so he wants to compete. But they also did it in a way where they took care of him.
Well, I can imagine him being a coach now, right? I mean, he seems like the coaching type, and I know that I've already seen some reports where he is going to be on the sidelines, still in C.J. Stroud's ear and helping him any way he can.
He's the son of a coach, and I had the chance. I mean, I've known Case for a while, but just talking to him before the preseason games, he sounds like a coach. I would be more surprised than not if he doesn't end up in coaching. The one thing that may keep him away from it, and he mentioned this, so I'm not, telling you anything that he hasn't mentioned, it is just the time away from the family. He's a huge family man. And, from what he said, he's going to have a conversation with his wife, because if you think you're away from your family as a player, I mean, multiply that by 2 as a coach.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, Indy, and I don't know how many people actually know how funny he is. He'd be a hell of a broadcaster. So a coach or a broadcaster. So I'm sure you want him to get into the coaching side of things with the Texans, right?
Well, I don't mind as long as he doesn't touch my preseason games. He can have the regular season game because those are games I can't do. But no, most quarterbacks, and like you said, he has a great personality. So with his knowledge of the game, but I really think with as much as he knows about the game, as much as he's been through as a quarterback, I mean, coaching, I just think that's the natural transition for someone like him.
Indy, so what happens now for players? You've got your roster set. We're still, little over a week away from game one. in the NFL season? Is it automatically you're just on to that first team and getting ready for them?
Yeah, for the most part. You still have some teams, and again, I don't know if they still do this. Some teams you have to have 53 guys on your roster. So I want to say that first for the listeners. Some teams will actually get down to 50, and you'll be like, "What the heck are they doing?" And obviously, y'all know what that means. That means they know that they're going to shop the waiver wire for their last 2 or 3 guys. And other teams, they feel good with their 53. So at the bottom of the roster, there's still some movement, and that sucks for the guys who think they made it, but they're not sure, because if Jason Minix gets cut, then we're going to bring him in, off the waiver wire. So then we have to release somebody. So there's a lot of that movement going on for spots 50, 51, 52, 53. But for the most part, you're absolutely right. I mean, D'Amico is, from the point of view of the Houston Texans, it's all things Indianapolis Colts. I mean, C.J. Stroud, he's watching Indianapolis Colts. Larry Tunsil, the future all-pro tackle for the Texans, he's watching the edge rushers for the Indianapolis Colts. So, yeah, the guys that are going to start, or your role players, they're 100% all in on the Colts right now.
Indy Kalu joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. So for those guys, at what point do they move out of a hotel and get a lease on an apartment, or do they ever?
The great question. I mean, it just depends on how they feel about things. I know my first year, I'm a 5th round pick, undersized defensive end. I think I make the team, and my buddy, may his soul rest in peace, he passed away, Ed Jasper, nicknamed Catfish. He went to Texas A&M. He was a 6th round pick. So we got real close during training camp in the off season. Then we both make the team. So we're going out to that first practice before the first regular season game. And we're all excited, man. We're about to attack scout team. We know we're not going to play, but we're just excited to be part of the 53-man roster. And Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator, he said, "Catfish, Kalu, come here." Then he doesn't break a smile. He says, "Hey, don't get an apartment yet." Then he just walks off. So for the whole practice, my stomach's turning, and I'm like just kind of down. And like me and Ed, we're practicing hard, but we're kind of looking at each other, just all dejected. Then we're walking off, and Emmett Thomas, same guy, comes up to us. He's like, "Man, what's wrong? Y'all look like you saw good." And we're like, "Hey, man, we don't know if we made the team." He said, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I was just joking." Then we're gonna go get an apartment. Man, when I say that was like the longest practice of my life, it was a tough one. But yeah, I mean, you have to have confidence in yourself, and you have to have some kind of faith. So yeah, I would say this is the time to get the apartment. If you're a good coach and you care about the player, and if you're not quite sure about a guy, you might tell his agent to let him know that, hey, tell him to stay in that extended stay hotel room.
How much of that goes on, ND? Seriously, that kind of a practical joke that obviously you didn't find funny, or your friend didn't find funny, but some people do find it funny.
I hope not too often, because I didn't like that at all. You talk about emotional roller coaster, but I'm sure people who have demented senses of humor, they do that. But I will say this on the flip side: when you do get to that point where you're not even worried about making the team, that's such a beautiful feeling as well.
Well, that's true. Although I think maybe you were getting tested and you failed miserably, but somehow kept your job. He wanted to see if you could practice through adversity. Could you focus?
No, I did practice.
You said horribly.
No, I felt horrible the whole practice. But no, I had a hell of a practice, because I thought I was still trying to prove myself.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It reminds me of Major League. You remember that movie? He puts the red thing in his locker room. Anyway, I digress. The other thing you said, and Minix has never made a cut or missed a cut.
I've never been cut.
He's never had that opportunity.
I've never been cut.
You made him feel good, and that was a practical joke in itself.
If teams need a 5'7", I don't know, whatever,
5'7",
I'm available, dude. I remember it was Trinidad. What was his name for the Texans, and now Deuce Vaughn, the 2 NFL guys that I've been around that I'm taller than. I do have
Holiday, right?
Yeah,
Holiday.
I do have a picture with Trendon Holiday. I should have a picture with Deuce Vaughn, except for Ryan Eagle screwed that up.
How does he screw up the picture?
We were doing our show out at Oxnard, And when they drafted Deuce, it was a great story. His dad's with the Cowboys, right? And his dad called him, and we're going to pick you 6 and all this. And I'm just like, there's no way this guy who's 5'0" is going to be a running back in the NFL. He's just too small. I'm afraid for his life. Now he's going through the line and getting smacked around like that. I said he's a gadget guy. Well, little did I know he was in the next booth. And
yeah, he was standing behind us waiting to take the picture because the PR guys brought him over so I could get the picture, and he heard that and he walked off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Now that's funny. So, to this day, he probably hates y'all.
Well, he hates me for sure, although Jerry Jones just the other day called him a gadget guy.
He is gadget juice.
He called him gadget juice.
Gadget juice.
Whatever that means.
Gadget juice. That, yeah, I don't even know where to go with that.
A lot of places, man. It's a family show.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay away from that.
Did you ever get pissed off at a reporter or a radio guy, ND?
No, not so much pissed off. I remember one time when I signed my 5-year deal to go back to Philadelphia, I had a high ankle sprain. And it really bothered me. I was doing everything I could to get healthy, get back on the field. And I remember reading an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer saying, like, the Eagles are still waiting for Indy to show up. And I was like, man, it's the second week of the season. And I just had a high ankle sprain. So that bothered me because I was doing everything I could. But it wasn't like I don't even know who wrote it. It was more like, hey, man, that hurts. I'm trying. But it wasn't like Deion Sanders, like, no, we're not taking any more questions from this guy ever again. Like, it wasn't that.
Everybody says they don't pay attention to the media, but you guys read and hear everything. And some of you have very thin skin for big old tough guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because this is what you do. Like, this is your job. This is your passion. This is your dream. Then in that scenario, like I was injured and I was like really, I was trying so hard. The trainer said, hey, you're actually causing more harm because you're not resting your foot, your ankle. Then to see some slappy, write that, that kind of annoyed me. But yeah, any guy that says, oh, I don't listen,
they listen.
They listen.
Absolutely.
They know. They know. That's part of it. Indy, CeeDee Lamb gets his contract. No surprise. Jerry Caves gives him the money. All smiles up there at the Star in Frisco today. But missing training camp like that. And I know it's 2 weeks before the season starts, so he'll go through practice this week and then next week a game week practice. Is there concern or should there be concern about his readiness for the opener against Cleveland?
Your guess is as good as mine, but you just said 2 weeks, and I have to believe a pro like CeeDee Lamb, a physical freak like CeeDee Lamb, has been working out. It's not the same, training camp is training camp, but the workouts that he's been doing, and now having 2 weeks with the pads on with his team, I not only will he be ready, he's probably going to look very fresh over the next few days.
Well, that's going to be interesting because obviously they've got a tough game coming up against. They open up in Cleveland, and big game. And again, I think Cleveland's going to be pretty good, so they're going to need CeeDee Lamb. We've been talking about the running back room for the Cowboys, Indy, and Deuce Vaughn made the running back room, so that tells you everything you need to know.
Wow, what's up with all this Deuce hate? Like,
Joe Reinagle hates a Deuce. Apparently,
I don't hate him. I just think he made it for the special teams part of it.
Now, Deuce, did you not watch him at Kansas State? Like,
oh wait, indeed. I expect more than you. You're a big dude. You would have loved to have hit Deuce Vaughn
if I could find him. Like that's the problem with guys like that. They find a way to hide behind the offensive line. Then he's freakishly thick and strong. At the very minimum, I think he's a good third string, running back. But I was very impressed with him at Kansas State. So, I don't think Deuce making the squad means that the running back room for the Cowboys is lacking. But I don't know who that star running back is going to be for them.
Well, they've got Dalvin Cook in today. They're working him out. Zeke Elliott and Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, me and Dalvin Cook, we work out together. Old fogey home. Like, come on now, I need somebody fresh. Like that's if you're relying on Dalvin Cook, you have issues in that room.
All right. Yeah.
Wow.
Would you rather have an old guy like Dalvin Cook or Frank Gore Jr., who got released today by the Buffalo Bills?
You know, I would rather go with a younger guy. Now, you know, British Brooks, who just got released by the Texans, at one point during this preseason, we thought he may have worked his way up to being the number 2 running back. I really think if your offensive line is put together, you can still have a very good season, a very good team if you have running back by committee. And I would rather have 2 or 3 younger, hungry guys who are trying to prove themselves.
Can I ask you one question before we let you go, ND?
Uh-oh.
When we first started the segment, Jason referred to you as a Texans legend. I kind of see you more as a Philadelphia Eagles legend.
No, we can't say that.
I'm just saying, how do you feel about that, ND?
Well, first of all, the word legend, for those who are like, oh, he had only 33 sacks in his NFL career, how is he a legend? First of all, shut up. Second of all, legend is the trademark term for all the former players. So it's none of us, we're not calling ourselves legends. But to answer your question, I mean, it's funny because the bulk of my career, my prime, was spent in Philadelphia. But I've done so much with Houston and the Texans after my career. I hate to say, I almost feel more like a Texan than an Eagle, which is a shame considering I spent double the time in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but if you wanted to claim Eagles, we wouldn't have you on every week.
Well, that's it. That's why. Yeah.
All right, well, let me ask you this: as the San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer that you are an official Texans ambassador. They give you a fancy coat and a shirt and probably a hat and I don't know, a free beer every now and then. Do the Eagles do anything for you?
They do, but you have to be there. So I still receive emails saying, "Hey, if you come to this game, you'll be taken care of if you want to come up for this opportunity." But I'm like, I'm not getting on the plane for 4 hours. I'll just,
I'll just do it. Now, if they said we bought you the plane ticket, is that different?
I know you think I'm cheap. It's not the price of the plane ticket. I don't like sitting on planes for 4 hours. Like, they're not comfortable, and I'm not rich enough to be getting first class. So no.
So if they said, "Here's a first class ticket, come to this event," you would say no?
Maybe if they had somebody pick me up and take me to the airport. I just don't like traveling at all.
So if it's
driving to the airport,
so for you to go do something for Philly, you need car service and a first class airline ticket.
Yes.
All right. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, and then you'll think about it.
Yeah, no. It's not going to happen. When they send me emails, they still can't get my name right. So I'm sure they're not going to send me a first class.
I think that solves everything about calling you a legend in Philadelphia. They don't even know your name.
Yeah. Andy Kalu, Andy. Like, my name ain't no damn
Andy.
So.
Of all the ways that I would think people could screw up your name, Andy isn't one of them.
No, I've never thought of Andy.
Look like an Andy.
No, not at all.
Although, now that you say it, I could see it. If somebody doesn't know us, hey, will you reach out to Andy Kalu and somebody here is Andy? What was that? Because, the kid sending that email has no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Although your email, and I won't give it out on air, but it's,
Yeah, that's correct.
Indeed.
Yes.
Good Lord. And you're cheap.
Yep.
Well,
so I'll just be sticking with the Texans for now.
All right. I just wanted to clear that up. Yeah, just wanted to clear it up.
All right. We won't call him a legend anymore. Former Texans and Texans analyst. He's just former player.
Former guy.
Former player.
Yeah, he's just a guy now. He's a regular guy.
Yeah, just like the fans. I want to sit at the bar and talk about football. Like a lot of times I'll be at a sports bar and somebody, I don't know how, but they'll recognize me from the radio show. So they'll ask me a couple of questions and then they'll say, "Oh, I know you don't want to talk about it. You're probably tired of it." But then after like 2 hours, I'm getting on their nerves. They're like, "Man, will you shut up?" I'm like, "No, let's talk football."
And I'm guessing if you're talking to that person 2 hours, they keep buying rounds.
Hence the reason I'm talking.
There you go. Andy Kalu, or Andy. Uncle Andy. We won't go there.
More reason to hate Philadelphia,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. You're an Andy in Philadelphia.
Yes.
That is great. Eagles legend Andy Kalu.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Can't wait for next Tuesday because we'll be actually getting ready for a game week.
Yes.
Indy,
How
always
awesome.
appreciate it, my friend.
All right, brother. Talk to y'all next week.
Good stuff. Indy Kalu on the Buyers Barricades guest line where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Speaking of sitting around at a bar talking sports, that's what we do all the time when we're at the Roo Pub. And if you want to go to a great place to watch all the games, especially this weekend with college football on, get into the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. And when you go into the Roo Pub, go hungry. The food, fantastic, all made from scratch. They have the biggest and best wings in town, about 15 different burgers on the menu, great salads, great appetizers, and that kitchen is open late till 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. So when you need that late night meal, don't go to a drive-thru. Get into the Roo Pub there at 281 in Redland Road. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Riding 1604 with the Blitz.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Smoky Moe's Texas Barbecue is the best neighborhood barbecue in San Antonio. Stop in for a signature chopped Baker potato. Pick up brisket, turkey, and mac and cheese for family dinner. Order freshly made breakfast tacos. Whatever you choose. Smoky Moe's Barbecue serves great tasting Texas barbecue fast and friendly. Tailgating? Order Smoky Moe's Barbecue for your perfect tailgate or game watching party. They'd love to see you at any area Smoky Moe's. Order for pickup or delivery at SmokyMoe'sBBQ.com. Smoky Moe's. The pit is lit. NCE General Contractors, based in San Antonio, is one of the fastest growing nationwide general contractors with a focus on commercial new construction, design build projects, building renovations, tenant finish outs, site upgrades, and building maintenance. NCE President Brian Ehrlich's a former Madison quarterback and proud to support high school football in San Antonio, building relationships first and buildings that last. Learn more about NCE General Contractors online at ncegc.co. That's ncegc.co.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Play ball!
Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch is 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, it is cutdown day in the NFL, and, well, the Cowboys made a trade. They sent tight end Peyton Hendershot to the Kansas City Chiefs in return for a 2026 seventh-round conditional pick. Among some of the notables for the Texans, former Cowboy wide receiver Noah Brown was cut, as was C.J. Henderson, their cornerback, and they have placed quarterback Case Keenum on the IR. He's going to miss the entire season.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Tuesday afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're not, go to YouTube. You can see us. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. We were told we're funnier when you're watching us.
Yes.
Not sure what that means.
Well, I think it's the goofy facial expressions you have.
Well, I think he was talking to you.
No, I think it was you.
Well, maybe. Maybe. I'm just goofy looking anyway. There's a reason I chose radio and you chose television, and
now it's all coming to radio or TV.
Yeah. Both, actually.
Both.
Yes.
Yeah, we got big news coming. Oh, we can't say anything?
No.
All right. You sure?
I was told no.
You were?
I was.
By who?
I don't know.
Nobody.
No, that's not true.
Just suffice it to say,
I don't think
big happenings.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about it.
I think we are.
I mean, we've already mentioned that we've got a new studio that we're moving into.
Is that the big news?
Well, I don't know.
I
But
could be talking about something else.
Well, it's when. I mean, we were told we were going to do that when we got back from Oxnard. We were told that when you got hired here damn near 3 years ago.
We didn't say that when we got back from Oxnard, just when we got back from Oxnard.
This is true.
Big news.
Technically
it's
speaking.
happening. Yes.
Yes.
Can't wait.
As long as there's not carpet on the walls.
Well, yeah, please. Or at least some more modern carpet. That would be nice.
You know, there's been construction in there. That carpet's got nothing but sawdust now. It's going to be great. And with all the stuff that's covering the carpet, they'll never be able to vacuum it.
We could do a little, maybe a little shag. Go back to the 70s.
No.
Austin Powers
nobody
kind of
wants
thing.
shag carpet.
Why not? Shag carpet was the best.
All right. I want you to go home and tell your lovely wife, Maggie, that you want to redo the flooring and you want to put in shag carpet.
I don't even know if they make shag carpeting anymore.
I'm sure you could get it.
You think so?
There's some sitting in a warehouse that's been there since 1978 that they never sold that's still there. I promise you.
You think so?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had shag carpeting in the house.
Really?
Yes.
Damn, you're old.
I don't know that I'm that old. I mean, I'm old, but I'm just like saying.
To have shag carpeting?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you had shag carpeting or the wood panel walls, you consider yourself old.
We didn't have wood panel. Not that I remember. I'm trying to think back of my childhood home in Alice, Texas.
Well, I got to think of my grandma's house.
Yeah, she had wood paneling?
Yeah, and shag carpet.
We didn't have wood paneling, but I remember the shag carpeting. Apparently, you can still get it.
Of course you can.
Shag carpeting was very popular, according to this, in the 1960s and 70s.
Oh.
And now is making a comeback.
You're kidding.
Everything comes back.
Again, they have it all. It's been in warehouses. Finally, somebody said, what are we doing with this? Let's sell it again. Put it on TikTok, call it a trend, and these kids will buy it.
Well, it's like shag carpeting can be a good choice for bedrooms or children's playrooms because it's warm and soft. It reminds me of me too, for God's sake.
Warm and soft.
Warm and soft.
I wouldn't brag about
I'm just
that.
saying.
That's not something that you should brag about, sir.
Well, it's modern technology.
I was looking for the noodles.
He is gadget juice.
Gadget. Yes, I am, Jerry. I can run an end around like anybody.
I gotta leave that one alone.
Okay. Oh, yes.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yes, sir.
That was just
It is the absolute floor.
Josh Jimenez wants to know if you were there when the commandments came out.
Sure.
Fred Villarreal says lots of green shag carpeting back in the 70s.
Ours wasn't green in my house. It was more of a reddish orange. It was like multiple colors. That makes it wasn't just one color.
You had rainbow carpeting?
Well, it wasn't rainbow carpeting.
You had rainbow shag carpet.
It was like
were they
I don't
multiple
know.
colors because of dog pee stains?
No,
That'd be
no,
the
no.
worst.
My dad, I don't think he had a rainbow, but he, not that I knew of anyway. Yeah, it was multicolored, kind of, but all blended together. Does that make sense?
No, it
Well, I mean,
doesn't.
shag carpet typically that I remember didn't come like in one color. It was like you had a little gray in there, a little red, little this, that. It was
this and that, huh?
Sure. It was fun. We used to play football in the house and shag carpet. You fall down, and you were fine. Yeah, good stuff.
You know, I saw a tweet last night that had me very confused and thinking of the old days, although old days for me are late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
But do you remember Mad Dog 2020?
I do.
MD 2020?
Yes, I do.
Apparently, it's making a comeback.
Really?
You can now buy canned Mad Dog, and the flavors of the cans in this photo, and it's 2 for $3.50, 16-ounce cans. So it's still high quality on the price. I mean, it's right there.
2 for $3.50?
Yeah, 2 for $3.50, 16-ounce cans. But the flavors are sweet blue raspberry and island pineapple. Now,
well, if you need to puke, there you go.
I just remember we had purple, orange, or red options. I don't remember actual flavors.
See, I was never a Mad Dog 2020 guy. I was more of a Boone's Farm.
Oh, Strawberry Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boone's Farm.
Yeah,
that was
so-
for the ladies.
Well, what the hell was Mad Dog? It's the same thing.
Well, I don't know, but it was the girls back then, you know, all drank the Boone's Farm or the Bartles and James.
Bartles and James.
And the guys would drink Mad Dog. And I just remember orange, purple, or red were the options when you were trying to go buy them. And, you know, growing up in Copper's Cove, Coryell County back then was a dry county. So we used to have to go to Lampasas. And it was easier to buy alcohol as a kid in Lampasas than it was in Killeen because of Fort Hood. They were a little bit stricter there with the soldiers on IDing people. But in Lampasas, they have a beer barn. And you would just drive in. You could literally show your high school ID card and get served. So as long as it looked like they carded you, that's all that mattered.
Back in those days, it didn't matter. We had convenience stores like that in Alice. We used to drink those little baby bulls.
Oh, yeah.
Little Schlitz malt liquor.
Little
the Schlitz malt
yeah,
liquor.
we heard you.
Holy cow.
Because they were that way.
Yes, they were. Woo-wee.
But if Mad Dog is still around, is Boone's Farm still around?
I wonder if the malt liquor's still around.
Imagine you could find those that and those Mickeys, those big mouth Mickeys.
Yeah.
From back in the day.
Those were popular as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, according to this.
According to what? What's this?
Oh, sorry. According to the Googles, you can get them in 6-pack, 16 counts, 16 ounce. I'm afraid to talk now. The FCC's calling. Hello.
As you should. Just talking about old school alcohol is making you drunk.
Exactly. And to have that. Look, you could buy 6 malt liquors, 16 ounces, for $6.98 at Walmart, according to this particular.
At Walmart.
At Walmart.
Okay.
How about that?
Well, I know where you're going after the show.
Knew?
Yeah.
No, I'm still not ready for that. I'm still in recovery.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
Yes.
Yep. CD Lamb in ramp-up mode, signed, sealed, and delivered. We'll hear from CD Lamb coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, let me tell you about my Connecticut quality water softener. I'm in love with that thing. I love it. It's been in my house now for a while, and man, what a difference it makes. It honestly makes a difference. And I was a little bit skeptical. I was thinking, well, one water softener is the same as the other. They're not. The Connecticut quality water softener is absolutely head and shoulders above everything else. And you know, in South Texas and San Antonio, a water softener is a must. The water's hard. It can do a lot of damage. But a Connecticut quality water softener, well, your hair's cleaner, your clothes are cleaner, your dishes are cleaner. Everything comes out a little bit brighter. And the thing I like about it the most, you don't plug it in. It does not run on electricity, but it provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, the fine folks at Connecticut are going to let you try it out for free. That's right. Now, no catches, 90 days in your home, absolutely free with no contract. You can't beat that. And look, after 90 days, if you don't like it, they'll come pick it up. No questions asked, and you won't owe them a dime. But I guarantee you, you'll fight somebody to keep that thing in your house. Let me tell you. Let them do that for you. Put it in your house for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. All you got to do is call them 656-PURE, 656-7873, or ConnecticutSA.com. And you know the jingle. Let's sing it. You ready? The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Jungla. Sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by England, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at HEB.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly. Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Lowe's knows Labor Day calls for big savings. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save up to $750 when you buy 2 or more select major appliances priced $396 or more. And My Lowe's Rewards members get 3 bags of premium 2 cubic foot color mulch for just $10. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
941 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. The Aggies take on the Notre Dame Leprechauns, presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pregame at 5:30 on 941 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minnick. On Twitter, at Joe Reinagle 210. Tweet at me, at Jason Minnick. Our listeners are fully aware of all the alcohol that's available.
Yes.
Chuck tweets in, Schlitz is still available. Mickey's small bottles not available in SA anymore. And don't forget about Zima.
Zima. I remember that. Zima.
Those were big in,
they were big.
San Marcos, man, back in the day.
Absolutely, they were.
Absolutely.
They absolutely were.
So are Mickey's available in other places, just not San Antonio? Have
That's
they
a good question.
been barred from Bexar County? Is
Probably.
it a brewing license like Yingling you can only get in certain states? Unfortunately, we live in a state now where you can get Yingling and Flight by Yingling, but like when we were in Vegas, they don't have it out there yet.
Right.
So
I don't know. I don't know because it's an East Coast thing, right? Isn't that where Yingling came from?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah. So East Coast finally made its way to Texas. So maybe it just hasn't gone out west yet. I know somebody we can probably ask that question to.
Well, I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
But it's not there yet. But I don't know. Is Mickey's available in other places?
I don't know.
I haven't thought about Mickey since 1994.
I was never a big Mickey's fan. But I remember like Mickey's and even the malt liquor would they do the job, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is the goal.
Yes, I guess.
Especially back then.
Uh-huh.
The most amount for the least amount. That's why Keystone was a thing.
Exactly.
What was the other
Keystone. Oh, God.
There was another one. Keystone and the bitter beer face. Those commercials. What, Pledge?
Keystone and Bush?
Yeah, it might have been Bush.
Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll give you a bitter beer face.
CD Lamb is signed, sealed, and delivered.
What's up, Cowboy Nation? It's your boy. He's back in the building. I'm happy to be back. Can't wait to see y'all at home, away, wherever. I know we travel well. Go nuts every game, plenty of touchdowns, and a lot more of that coming. Love y'all.
Nice. I like it when players now, when they do that, they make a little, what was that, Instagram pledge?
Yeah, social media video. It'll end up on all the platforms.
Right.
You know, he signed his contract and got stacks and stacks and stacks of cash.
Yes. Got a nice wire to his bank account today, I'm sure.
Yes, he did.
As soon as he signed that deal.
Absolutely, he did.
Josina Anderson's reporting that Dalvin Cook's visit with the Cowboys is over. But she goes on to say her understanding is that Cook looked good and in shape.
But he did not sign.
No contract.
So the question look good and in shape, it's over. Is he going to the airport or is he going to the hotel that's attached to the complex?
I mean, the Cowboys have to do something now, don't they? They're down to 3 running backs. Because they've already cut Malik Davis. They cut Royce Freeman.
Yeah.
So you got Dowdle, Deuce, and Zeke.
And Hunter.
Well, Hunter, he's a fullback.
Well, they got him listed as a running back,
He's
sir.
a fullback.
Yeah, they got him listed as a running back, and it you know, all right, man, fly home and get all your stuff and come on back, because there is the time period now of when guys will go on IR, when CD officially gets added. Chuma Edoga looks like, because he's on the roster, but we know he's going to the IR,
Yeah.
so he might be that corresponding move. Darren Bland, you know, because you can have 2 IR spots now. So while the 53 man is set today, the roster is not in concrete by any stretch for the Cowboys or anybody for that matter.
They've got to get a running back from somewhere. I just can't see them going into the season with those 3 guys. I know Lupke's listed as a running back, but Zeke's your guy right now. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. At least at this moment in time, he's your guy. And again, Deuce Vaughn made the team for special teams. And maybe he runs the football once or twice. He's not going to run it much.
But from the gadget aspect of things, maybe. You know, if you take your biases against Deuce Vaughn and you were just watching him play in the preseason, he played better as a traditional running back than Malik Davis, and was probably the best running back the Cowboys had in those preseason games, knowing that, you know, they didn't run the ball a lot in the first game, which was a mistake, but he ran the ball well in the second 2 games as a traditional running back, which might have been what they were looking to see. Can they utilize him in special teams, but also when needed, can he be a traditional running back? And that makes a Royce Freeman or a Malik Davis expendable.
My memory is not all that great, but if I recall, Deuce Vaughn looked fantastic in the preseason last year too. And everybody was telling me, oh, you're wrong. You look just like Indy. He looked great at Kansas State. Well, click your heels and go back to Kansas, Dorothy, because that's not Kansas State and the Dallas Cowboys are 2 different things completely.
They are.
2 different things. Deuce Vaughn looked fantastic in the preseason last year. He looked good in the preseason this year. Doesn't mean a damn thing.
Nothing. Not a
damn
thing. Not a damn thing.
He'll return kicks.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But also, does Dalvin Cook have a good workout, a good visit, looks to be in shape? We saw that on video. But seeing the Buffalo Bills release of Frank Gore Jr., is it now a conversation of, do we bring in Dalvin Cook or one of these other guys? And I like Frank Gore Jr. the most of the running backs that were released today, partly because I know his name and I've seen him play.
And his dad was so good.
I don't give a damn about his dad right now, but I remember watching him play in college, thinking he could be a good back in the NFL. He gets drafted by Buffalo. They take a couple of running backs in last year's draft. One makes it, one doesn't. Pretty typical. And so if he's available, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm calling and asking about Frank Gore. Now, how many other teams are also doing the same thing? Because you've got a young rookie with promise. Would you rather have a young running back who is a rookie or a veteran guy that has as much in the tank as you have with Zeke?
It depends. Let's go back to Jerry's all in. Is he all in? I mean, is that, and I know we've made a lot of fun with that, but are you thinking about the future? A Frank Gore, I would prefer a guy like that simply because he's more of a change of pace guy, right? You already got, if you bring in Dalvin Cook, Dalvin and Zeke Elliott are pretty much one and the same. I mean, they're not that much different running styles necessarily. Both of them are big backs. Both of them are pounders. So, yeah, if you're going to do that, why not bring in a change of pace? Unless you think Dowdle's that or Gadget Juice.
Gadget Juice.
He is Gadget Juice.
Uh-huh. He is.
AKA Deuce Vaughn.
But clearly they have, at this point, it's not an emotional feel-good story anymore. There is something that they really like about him to keep him around, and more than one thing for them to use a roster spot. And, going into year 2, I think maybe the biggest surprise for me is that Royce Freeman doesn't make it after the way they were talking him up. And I say they, everybody, but especially Stephen Jones on the blitz. But, Mike McCarthy on the podium a couple times. I mean, they really liked Royce Freeman. So what happened with Royce Freeman? I know he had a little bit of a groin injury in camp, but if they really like him and if it's just that, that's going to get better and you're going to be good. Or did these other guys just outperform them? All the data said, Royce bye, and Deuce, you're on.
I'm going to give you some credit, believe it or not. When we were sitting in Vegas, we were watching the game, and Deuce Vaughn was returning kickoffs. And I don't know if it was then or if it was yesterday or whatever day it was, you said to me, KaVontae Turpin probably going to be relied on more as a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So Deuce Vaughn makes the team to take the spot that KaVontae Turpin once held. So Turpin can now concentrate more on being a wide receiver. I think that makes the most sense that I can think of as to why the Cowboys have kept Deuce Vaughn.
Well, and that might be the case. Now, when I look at the 53-man roster, is C.J. Goodwin going to be the return guy? Because he makes the roster as a specialist, not a corner. That's kind of interesting. Long time pro. I mean, CJ's been in the league a long time. I was kind of surprised to see him listed as a specialist and not a defensive back. So, although I still think, Deuce Vaughn is going to be your return guy because clearly, and I hate to say it this way, but I mean, the roster spots are so valuable. Can you have your kicker, your punter, your long snapper, and that's all they do. So that's 3 of your 53 right now. So you're looking at 50 guys. And on the 46 active roster on game day of the 46, you really have 43 because those 3 guys only do one thing. Can you have a Deuce Vaughn that is just a kick returner, or is he also going to be your punt returner? Don't you need somebody that could do both? And with the dynamic kickoff, do you have 2 guys back as opposed to 1? Because I do think we'll see a lot of different things with the kickoffs in the regular season that we didn't see in the preseason because everybody wanted to keep it pretty generic. Kicking it to a corner, doing the coffin corner kind of thing is one thing, but if you've got 2 return guys back, then you could put in the fake reverse like you see Jim Streety and Ron Ritterman teams have done for years. I mean, there's just so many different things you could do because, quite honestly, the dynamic kickoff was less than I think the average field position was around the 24, 25-yard line.
I have to believe things are going to change with that, though. I think it was pretty vanilla in the preseason. Look, I could see Vaughn being used. They tried him out at wide receiver a time or two. I could see him playing in the slot from time to time. I could see him, there'll be some trick plays. I'm not saying he's worthless, but I think getting this guy in space is where he's most effective. There's no way you can convince me that Deuce Vaughn is a 15 to 20 carry guy running the ball between the tackles. You can't. I don't care how good he looked in preseason. He's not that guy. But if you want to use him and get creative, which maybe the Cowboys are planning to do, okay, I get that. Because if you get the guy in space, he is elusive and he is fast. And so I could see them doing that. Punts, kickoffs, that all makes perfect sense to me. But if you're looking for Deuce Vaughn to be anywhere in the running back by committee group, if that's really what they're going to do, I don't see it, and none of it makes sense.
In Zeke and Rico sharing the backfield, that doesn't get you excited?
There's got to be somebody else. There has to be, whether that's Cook or somebody else.
Well, I've maintained for months, I don't think the Cowboys' leading rusher at the end of the year is on the roster. If Zeke is your bell cow running back, Dak is going to throw for 5,000 yards.
And I think that's going to be the case. Dak Prescott is going to be your offense. Dak and CD and some guy named Ferguson.
And if that's the case, then I'm good with Zeke because we know he can block.
Yep.
And I think I said that the day he re-signed. his best asset at this point in his career, he's a hell of a blocker.
As long as he's not a blocker on punts.
Well, he's never going to play center again.
Don't do that again.
And that was actually a pass play, not a punt.
Whatever it was.
It was fourth and forever.
He's still rolling, I think, backwards.
Yeah, let's not let facts get in the way of a good story. That was not a punt.
Well, it was not a good block is the point.
Well, he was snapping the ball.
Okay. You got to do both. Don't long snappers block after they snap the ball?
Not really.
Sure they do.
They run down the field because they're uncovered. They're uncovered.
So, in other words, whoever that was, and I don't remember who it was,
here we go,
was licking his chops, seeing Zeke Elliott there. He says, I'm going to roll over that dude like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And he did.
It was brilliant.
It was.
Was that the last play Kellen Moore ever called for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think it was the last play until now that Zeke Elliott played as a Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah, it was.
That was funny.
Yeah, well, not really.
It was hilarious.
It was not. It really wasn't.
It was hilarious.
It was not.
Yeah, it really was.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't.
You didn't laugh?
No.
What'd you do?
I was screaming words I can't say on the radio at the television because with the game on the line, that's what you drew up, Kellen Moore? Ready to help that guy pack his U-Haul after that.
He was gone.
He was.
He was out.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Generally not a laughing matter for you if you've got to call a plumber or an AC person. The good news is you can call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating and AC if you got problems at the house with your plumbing or your air conditioner. 210-651-5899 is the phone number, 651-5899. At Quarter Moon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. Cut day is done. What do the Cowboys' final 53 look like?
And let's look at the other 31 teams, see if any of their trash could be Dallas's treasure. We'll talk about it at 6. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's football season, and you know the best place to watch games is at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road, with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. College, pro, the games are on at the Roo. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at TSAOG.com.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Ectoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Ectoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Ectoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Ectoderm Flare Control Cream. Ectoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free in or out of your vehicle. We can help you find the best battery for your vehicle and budget. O'Reilly Auto Parts has batteries starting at just $79.99. Get your battery tested for free today at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. I'm one of 5 million active members. I play every day because you know why? It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because I get to use my knowledge and apply it to win some serious money. And as a player, they invented FlexPay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your pick don't hit. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with just as simple 4 correct picks. It is that easy to play. You can have fun. It's simple. It's a great playing experience, and you can use your knowledge. How well is Tyreek Hill going to do this week? How is Dak Prescott going to play? If you know, you go play. It's Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code Alamo and get $50 instantly when you play. That's code Alamo on Prize Picks. You get $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
This is Jim Rome, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. High school football starts Friday night. Johnson and Judson will be our game of the week, energized by Hill Electric, Frost Bank, NCE General Contractors.
Always happy when high school football kicks off. It's always exciting.
Well, and you know, in trying to do a game of the week, and the challenge is obviously you want a good game. Johnson and Judson always seem to play close games. You know, last year Johnson won 27-21. The year before that, Judson won 46-43. I mean, you know, although Judson in their 4 meetings is 3-1 against Johnson, but it's going to be a fun time.
Of course, it always is, and I love. They're still playing for the love of the game until NIL hits high schools, which it probably will.
It probably will,
and that'll screw that up too.
But at least for now, it's not. But when you think about, you know, Friday night, Saturday, we got all the colleges. I know. Friday, while I'm at the stadium, you're going to be doing your part of the Blitz from the I-10 Ice House. Is, you know, that's a big Aggie bar. They're trying to get everybody over there for Saturday's game against Notre Dame. You just look at that, and one of the things that we all complain about, and especially early in the season, you know, the NFL, it's a little easier to keep track of where everybody's going, even if it's not your team. With college football, at least for me, and hell, I do this for a living, I know who my teams have lost and added. But yeah, the early part of the season, it's a lot of, that guy's there. Like, I had no idea that I don't remember knowing that Haynes King ended up at Georgia Tech, right? Until I'm watching that game, the early part of the college football season, you're going to, you know, because last year, and this number is astounding, last year, more than 900 FBS scholarship players entered the portal. 900.
That's incredible.
Now, some good news, I think, for a lot of college football coaches. I think it's good news. Jeff, if you're listening, you can always call in and give us your thoughts. College football spring transfer period is officially in danger of being eliminated after the NCAA's FBS and FCS oversight committees recommended the sport move to a single off-season notification of transfer window. That, according to an article by Max Olson from ESPN that just dropped a couple of minutes ago. Under the proposal, the 30-day transfer window in December would become the lone opportunity for FBS and FCS players to enter their name in the portal to seek a new school. For the past 2 years, the transfer portal also had a 15-day window in April.
I think that's great, and they've just proposed it. Now we'll see if it could take effect for this year, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm reading here? I hope they do it. I really do. 2 transfer portals is kind of ridiculous, is it not? I mean, if you want to leave, you leave in the spring and go to your new team, but at least that sets the rosters for the coaches, and they don't have to worry about it.
Well, I don't know which one is better. The 2 windows now, you've got the one in December that opens the Monday after the conference championship games and goes through January 7th, right? So, and as much as that one sucks, especially as teams are getting ready for bowl games, you can look around and go, well, if my team is in the portal, they can't play. Now, we know last year some teams let guys in the portal continue to play because, quite frankly, they needed the bodies to go to the bowl games. But that window makes sense because registering for classes and being at your new school in time for the spring semester, you've got to do that. The April window for guys that go through spring ball and kind of suck and they realize they don't have a future there, that gives them an opportunity. And it's only a 15-day window as opposed to a 30-day window. But I like the idea of eliminating one of them. And, I would rather them eliminate in the spring, but because of school, I realize that's a little bit tougher. And I think if you're going to a new school, you want to be there in time for spring ball. But if spring ball doesn't work out, then you can hit the portal in April. I don't like the December window, but it is the one that seems to make the most sense.
Well, I'm just glad there should not be 2 windows. There should only be one. So whichever one you're going to get rid of, I agree with you. I'd rather that December window be closed and have them in the spring and make your decision then. But 2 windows is ridiculous. It just is. And again, there's a lot of work to do when it comes to NIL and transfer portal and all of that. But at least this is a step in the right direction. So I'm happy about it, and I hope it passes.
The other part that I'm curious of is, does it really have to be 30 days?
No, it doesn't. No. How about just 15? That'd be enough, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, because essentially by eliminating one of the windows, you're going from 45 days to 30. Now, I don't really know what's going on in those 30 days. I have a feeling I know what's going on in those 30 days, and that's negotiations on NIL deals. Coach, I want to stay here, but so-and-so has offered me a little bit more money. And you get all that back and forth. And you're dealing with a lot of players, so contract negotiations take a while. But it just feels like that's a long time to decide you don't want to be somewhere. And just because you put your name in the portal, if I'm understanding this right, that doesn't mean you have to leave.
No.
Can't you just put your name in the portal saying basically you're accepting the highest bidder, or you could stay where you are?
Here's my problem and our concern that I see. First of all, we've learned very quickly the NCAA has no teeth.
Yes.
So if California decides, well, NCAA, screw you, we want 2 portals, they're going to start filing lawsuits, and we're going to be right back in the same boat. There's got to be some changes beyond the NCAA.
Are you picking on California because they started this NIL mess?
Well, it's a good place to start.
All right.
Look, I just think that somebody's going to file a lawsuit saying, well, you're keeping me from doing what I need to do, and that's not right. And so I've got to be able to have that April window. Something like that's going to happen if this passes. Because, again, the NCAA has no teeth. They've got no authority. They've got nothing. And so if somebody wants to hire a lawyer and fight this thing, I have a feeling that's what they're going to do. I'm happy to see the NCAA at least trying something. But I think it's going to take more than this when it comes to the transfer portal, when it comes to regulating NIL. It's going to have to go somewhere else. The NCAA just is not powerful enough to make it stick.
Now, one of the quick things, and Max Olson describes this in his article at ESPN.com, if your team is in the 12-team college football playoff or in the FCS playoffs, they get a 5-day exemption to enter the portal after their season has concluded. Players have also been able to take advantage of a 30-day window to transfer in the event of a coaching change. Here's my kind of thing. I think it should all be 5 days. Your season is over. You got 5 days. If you're unhappy somewhere and all you're doing is deciding that your name is in the portal, that doesn't mean you have to go somewhere, right? It's not like you've got to sign to a new school in that 5 days. You're just putting your name in there that you're basically a free agent. Because I think for your coach, and let's use UTSA for an example, because Jeff Traylor's done a hell of a job of keeping his guys. He lost 2 last year, only 2.
Uh-huh.
So if I put my name in the portal, at least my coach knows my name is in the portal. Other coaches are coming. It's not like on day 29 or day 30 on the deadline day, I can blindside my coach who is thinking I'm good because I've been telling him I'm good when other guys have been in the portal that he could have gone after to replace me. You see what I mean?
Sure.
I think a 30-day window to say I kind of want to leave. I don't know. And now, granted, I don't know all the rules, and I don't know the ins and outs and the gray areas of the rules. But the way I understand it is I can put my name in a portal. That doesn't mean I'm leaving. That's just saying I'm willing to leave, right? It's like you've got your job right now and you're applying for other jobs and maybe even doing interviews. But that doesn't mean you're going to take that other job or you're going to get offered that other job. So
right. And you're not telling your boss that either.
I mean, no. But in this case, your boss, your coach is going to know.
He is going to know, or she. And look, it's such a screwy thing. And I'm looking at this. The window's going to be open from December 9th through January 7th if this thing goes through. And again, if you're in the playoffs, that's great. But what about all these other bowl games that have just basically turned into nothing more than exhibition games? They mean nothing. They've always been that. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But if you're not in the playoffs, then a lot of these star players have no interest in playing, and it's sad.
It is. And we've seen it here with UTSA.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of a guy, although I understand their business decision, especially if they're going to the NFL. I totally understand. I still think it sucks. You know, you've been on scholarship. You've been a part of this. It's your guys. You know, the old saying that, you know, you go to battle with these guys and that's who you want in your foxhole. And yeah, it might not mean much, but at the same time, you know, and you play for the bowl game, right? I just, you know, I don't know. I'm that way. I don't like the guy sitting out a bowl game.
Well, if you up and leave, even if you're not going to the NFL, but yet, you know, X school over here wants you to transfer there for this amount of money or whatever the case may be. Again, I think especially college football, and I think that's the biggest issue. There needs to be contracts. There needs to be contracts. Yep. They need to go to an NFL model and say, all right, you're on the hook for 2 years. You're getting X amount of money or whatever the case is, but you're on the hook. You're here for 2 years unless your coach leaves. If your coach leaves, then I'm all for them being able to get out of that contract. But I just think something like that has got to take place. It's got to happen. Or guys are just going to continue to chase the bigger and better offer, which is fine, but it needs to be regulated at some point in time.
Yeah. Excuse me. It does. And I know it goes both ways. We get mad at players, but kids aren't on a 4-year scholarship. They really aren't. They are on a series of 1-year scholarships and they have to get their scholarships renewed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the commitment, you know, we look at it that way and we think, man, you've committed to that for 4 years. But if you're not doing your part, coach can release you too. I mean, it is a two-way street. Most of the time when somebody gets released, it's, you know, they either haven't done anything or they're not contributing and living up to the scholarship and fans don't hear about it because they're not a star player, where you hear about star players getting into the portal when they're not mad. And I see Gino DiDomenico on YouTube saying, you know, sometimes coaches will release you from your scholarship as soon as you hit the portal. And that's true too. In some cases, but we watched bowl games last year where there were guys in the portal still playing for their team.
Yes.
So some coaches let you do that. Some coaches, oh, you want out? You're out.
Well, they didn't have a choice. And these schools rely on that money from these bowl games.
Yes.
But you still have to have a number of players to be out there to field a team. And so, look, it's an issue, and it's going to continue to be an issue until something changes that will stick for everybody. And the NCAA, quite frankly, I have no faith in them at all.
None. And looking at some of the comments on YouTube, Fred is pointing out the obvious, and Trey Moore, UTSA lost 2 players to the portal. One was their best defensive player in Trey Moore, and yep, he's up in Austin now. Then they also lose one on the defense to Oregon, I think it was. And they got 2 on the defense that are now in the NFL. So they've got some holes to fill on the defensive side. And, we talked to Jeff Traylor yesterday. You know what Jeff Traylor did really well? Recruited the portal.
He did.
And he was able to get a lot of guys here. Hell, he was talking about a guy that he brought in from Stanford and this guy. I mean, it goes both ways. It really does. I know it sucks when you see somebody on UTSA's team hit the portal, but Jeff Traylor and his staff, they're working that portal and improving this roster because of it. I mean, I know this year as they kick off Saturday against Kennesaw State, a lot of people are wondering about the quarterback position because Frank Harris has been there for the last 38 years. But in reality, this might be the best roster that Jeff Traylor has ever fielded. The question is at quarterback. We've seen both of those kids play. I think they're going to be just fine.
Well, I think both kids can play, and they will be just fine. I'm not worried about that. But the difference and there are a lot of coaches like Jeff Traylor. Don't get me wrong. He's not the only one, but Jeff Traylor can still sell you a good game without paying you a ton of money.
Yes.
A lot of coaches aren't doing that anymore, especially these big schools. It's just all about money. How much do you want? You come here, we're paying you this, we're paying you that. Jeff Traylor doesn't have that luxury. He still has to sell, and he has to sell that kid that this is the best place for him, and he's been able to do that very well.
And the idea of pack the dome, make it a fun environment on Saturday, tailgate, it's an orange out. The only orange one I have is long sleeves, so I'll probably wear a blue polo.
Oh, wow. So you'll be the only dude with blue on.
I'm pretty sure I won't be the only one with blue on.
That's great, Minix.
I'm pretty sure I won't be the only one with blue on. Well, I mean, I'll match the chairs. They're blue seats in the Alamo Dome. But I look at that and, that's why all of this matters for UTSA. The tickets, the fan environment, because we know Jeff Traylor can recruit, but those kids need to see the environment here and want to be a part of it. And he has created that. And he's got a lot of guys right now that are in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so it's, he's got all the examples of you can come to UTSA and still make it to the NFL.
Absolutely. And I think as it continues to be successful, that will continue.
Yes.
And it makes that a little bit easier. But I just think we need to give him a lot of credit because he does have to sell. He does not have the luxury of just writing any size check that he feels like writing.
True.
And a lot of these places, man, they're writing big checks.
Big. And as we've seen from UTSA, you might have got a big check, but I can't say that experience at Ole Miss was better than what you had here.
Amen, brother.
That's just the way it is. Man, college football this weekend. Cannot wait. Aggies in Notre Dame right here on 94.1, starting at 5:30 with the pregame. Kickoff at 6:30. Aggie football brought to you by Ewok Kubota and the Angry Elephant on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
At Frost, some of our services sound too good to be true. Like the largest ATM network in Texas. Early payday, so direct deposits made to personal checking accounts are available up to 2 days earlier. Having a real live banker to talk to 24/7. Or that time a Frost banker gave a San Antonio restaurant her personal debit card number after a customer's card was mistakenly declined at his business dinner. True story. Frost, exactly what you unexpected.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
When you've got a big job to do, never compromise. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Get the power, comfort, and quality you need by choosing Kubota rental equipment. Excavators, skid loaders, track loaders, RTVs, or mowers. At Ewald Kubota, we have the machine you need when you need it. Rent by the day, week, or month. We know you want the dependable equipment Kubota is known for, and we can even deliver it to you. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, for over 75 years, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. The Aggies take on the Notre Dame Leprechauns, presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pregame at 5:30 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, it is being reported that four-time Pro Bowl free agent running back Dalvin Cook came to Dallas for a visit, but he is left without a contract, although we're told he looked pretty good. We'll have to wait and see. Cowboys have made a trade today, sending tight end Peyton Hendershot to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2026 seventh-round conditional pick. And the Cowboys, they let loose of offensive lineman Josh Ball and linebacker Darius Harris.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah.
Glad you're watching on YouTube. Should you go there? Is that poll still up?
It is about Dalvin Cook or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. Let's see. We're at 61%. Are you excited for Dalvin Cook to sign with the Cowboys? 44% yes, 56% no, with 61 votes. There's a poll question on our YouTube channel. Go there and subscribe. But if the Cowboys were to sign Dalvin Cook, does that excite you? He came in for a meeting. Apparently it went well. We saw a video. He's in shape, and a reporter was told, Josina Anderson, he was in great shape. But the meeting is over. There's no word of any signing. No word if he went to the airport or to the hotel, and I think that matters. Like, hey, man, we're going to put you up for the night. Or, well, we got to catch that flight so you're home for dinner. Because also other running backs have been released today, including one, Frank Gore Jr., which of all the guys that got released, that is the one that I am most intrigued about, and I like better just because he's younger. I feel like Dalvin Cook I've got with Zeke Elliott. I mean, I think between those two running backs, you might have half a tank of gas. Might between the two be able to get from here to Waco. Maybe.
Oh man, at least starting out, I think Zeke's going to be the guy. It's going to be interesting to see how many carries Zeke gets in that Cleveland game. I'm really curious to see. And then if they don't sign anybody, which I think is a long shot, I think they will. How is that running back by committee going to be? Is it just going to be two guys? Will it be three? What kind of trickeration will they use with Deuce Vaughn?
Trickeration with Deuce. Come on.
He is gadget juice.
See? Yes, he is. That might be the play call. Let's run gadget juice. Dak will know exactly what that is.
So Dak Prescott up at the line of scrimmage.
Here we go.
Gadget juice. Everybody's going to know.
Everybody. Well, as soon as Deuce Vaughn enters the game, they're going to know. So it's like the Cowboys are going to say, yep, here he is. This is what we're going to do. So you got to stop it.
Yeah. Well, at least we know that CeeDee Lamb is going to be there. CeeDee Lamb officially signed, sealed, and delivered. He even made it social media worthy.
What's up, Cowboy Nation? It's your boy. He's back in the building. I'm happy to be back. Can't wait to see y'all at home, away, wherever. I know we travel well. Go nuts every game, plenty touchdowns, and a lot more of that coming. Love y'all.
Yep, CD got paid.
More. Yes, he did.
What was interesting is listening to Bill Belichick talk on Pat McAfee about why it was so important for all these guys, and Ayuk is included, but especially, CeeDee Lamb, just sign your damn contract in Dallas.
The Ayuk situation was interesting too. Here's a guy that, again, I don't know all the specifics of it, so I'm really, I'm looking at it from the outside here, but didn't want to go to New England, didn't want to go to Pittsburgh. In the end, is the little more money, however much the extra money is that worth going to a team that isn't maybe has the same opportunity to win as maybe what San Francisco does? And so I think that's kind of the and whether CeeDee Lamb's going through the same thing down there or not, I don't know. Like, Dallas is a pretty good situation, got a great quarterback, got a good team, got a lot going for you.
Belichick just say he's got a great quarterback.
Yeah, of course, but is it really worth
I'll be
it
coaching
to
him next year.
Town to wherever,
interviewing for the job on TV,
and not be playing in the environment
Listen
and the
to this
opportunity he has there in Dallas. So I mean, AJ, you've been there before. That's a player. A decision you have to make as a player. Like, how much is it? You want to try to get as much as you can from the team you want to be with. If you're already on that team, then how much is it really worth by the time you move? Pay your 50% tax or your millionaire's tax in New England. You got that one too. What's really the differential?
I mean, and obviously Belichick knows he's paying that millionaire's tax in New England. There's more taxes for rich people than most of us realize. 50% tax. So you think about you want to go somewhere else. Do you really? And while he was talking about CeeDee Lamb, does this not also apply to a Dak Prescott? Is he has a decision to make? Do you want to everything that you've got in Dallas, you've got to sell and be able to buy? And, we've all seen pictures and videos from Dak's house. It's not like there's a lot of buyers that want a football field in their backyard and everything else that he has. But then you move somewhere, all the taxes there, and then the millionaire tax. I didn't know that was a thing, which I'm glad to not know that. Well, actually, I wish I did know. I wish I did know. But you know what I mean? There's just more and more taxes that you have to go. And there's a lot of reports today that it's a matter of when, not if, Dak gets his deal, including one from Clarence Hill Jr.
I've seen that. So what I'm hearing you say is that Dak should take a team-friendly deal.
No, I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you said.
I did not say that.
Instead of going somewhere else?
I did not say that.
Because it's going to cost him more to live in Las Vegas.
It will.
Yeah, it will. So he should take a team-friendly deal.
I never said the word team-friendly, and
that's
I know
exactly
Dak
what
is going to leave a dime on the table. But whatever he thinks he is worth today and whatever number they've been negotiating with, if he were to become a free agent, the potential of that number going up with a bidding war of teams that want a quarterback of that caliber, he would make more money if he became a free agent than if he just signs with Dallas before the start of the season.
I'm not sure that would happen. I'm not sure that would happen at all.
He also didn't think Tua would get paid or some of these other guys would get paid.
First of all, you got to have a team that is willing and able to pay him whatever you're thinking. What, $100 million a year?
Nobody said
$80 million a year.
No,
70?
but if right now the market rate is north of 55.
Okay,
shy of 60.
Yeah,
but if there is a bidding war, does he become 60,
Who's
62, 65? Look, you didn't think a receiver was going to get 35 4 months ago.
Who's going to bid for the guy?
The Raiders could. The Saints could.
Okay.
The Buccaneers could.
Boy, Dak, those are great places, buddy.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, New England, they apparently don't have
millionaire tax.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, but the idea of if he becomes a free agent, there could be a bidding war.
There could be. I'm not sure that there's going to be all these teams lining up for Dak Prescott, especially depending on what he does this year. If he does the same thing that he's done for the past 8, I'm not sure that there's going to be a bidding war for Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm serious. I really don't think so. And I heard Clarence Hill. Do we have Clarence Hill? Can we play that?
These people that think that the Cowboys are going to let Dak walk, that makes no sense. Why don't you put this kind of money in CeeDee Lamb and start over at quarterback? There's no guarantee who you're going to get a quarterback. That just doesn't make any sense. And the Cowboys want to get Dak done. They plan to get that done. Takes 2 to tango, just like with the CeeDee Lamb thing. But it's just a matter of when, I believe, not if.
Well, and that's great. I can believe that I'm going to win the lottery tonight. That's my belief.
But we know Dak Prescott will win the lottery. It's just a matter of when he decides to get the ticket.
Dak will most likely get paid somewhere. But the point is, I think Cowboy fans, honestly, and I've been around you for a long time now, Cowboy fans like Clarence Hill, who's the same way, I think Cowboy fans are just afraid. They're afraid to take a chance on doing something else. And I just think that because of what I know, and I've heard it all, Quincy Carter, I've heard this guy, that guy. Cowboy fans are just afraid of the unknown.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Because I would move on from Dak Prescott tomorrow if it looked like there was a plan in place. So there's a difference between afraid of the unknown and moving on and trying something different. The Cowboys haven't done anything to prepare for life after Dak Prescott. So to what Clarence was saying there, and you've heard me say it 1,000 times, you just don't hear it, is the Cowboys, I would move on from Dak tomorrow if they did what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz, drafted a Jalen Hurts. It was time to move on. It's a lot easier. Right now, they have nothing that they can move on to. So if Dak becomes a free agent and now they're going with the best available that they could find, maybe drafting somebody, you have no idea. And you just said, I mean, who knows what teams are going to line up for Dak Prescott. I think you would have several that would make the money work for Dak Prescott just to have a quarterback that gives their team a chance. And he would be an upgrade for a bunch of teams in the NFL. But he hasn't gotten it done in Dallas. Playoff Prescott, that guy has sucked for the last 8 years. But I don't think no matter what he does this year, he would have a line of teams ready to give him money, just like he snapped his leg and still got paid. Kirk Cousins blows an Achilles, and he can still get paid.
Well, it
so
depends.
If you think Dak Prescott can have a bad year and not get paid, you're crazy.
Well, it depends. That was 4 or 5 years ago, Jason. Things have changed a little bit since then.
He's 31 years old.
But you're still paying him just like you would a Trevor Lawrence, a Justin Herbert, on potential for what they can
Kirk
do.
Cousins is 36.
But Minnesota moved on from Kirk Cousins.
A team was lined up ready to give him $100 million.
Well, that's fantastic. But it's not $300 million, is it? Which is what you're saying Dak is going to make at 60, 4 or 5 years?
Well,
there's a huge
a 4-year
difference.
deal at 60 is $240.
Okay.
Just saying. Which sounds a lot worse than $300, right? I'd rather get $300 than $240.
I'd take 240 in a heartbeat.
Well, I would, and so would Dak. But
Well,
nobody,
sure he would.
nobody has said 300 million.
Okay, 240 then. All right, that's okay. Sure,
And that
you
wouldn't
win.
be fully guaranteed.
Well, sure it would. 200 of it would be.
Well,
most likely, because that's probably what he's looking for. I mean,
no doubt.
I would think. So, first of all, I'm not sure there'd be a line of teams lining up because you got to make everything fit. You do. Minnesota moved on from Kirk Cousins. Yes, Atlanta was sitting in the wings, but Atlanta immediately signed him to a 2-year deal. Is Dak going to sign a 2-year deal with somebody? I mean, think about it. And with a guy right there next to him, ready to take his job in 2 years. I mean, yes, Atlanta needed a quarterback. They needed a bridge. They were smart. They're planning for the future. They've got a team that with a decent quarterback maybe can make some noise this year. I'm just not sure those teams are out there all over the place. And I joke about Las Vegas. What does Las Vegas have? They've got nothing. They got a receiver.
Yeah,
that's it.
They got a really good receiver. And again, you get a quarterback like that, you'll get more. The Giants could use a quarterback.
Yeah.
There's teams out there. We'll ask Shereen Williams.
Yes, we will.
Mother football.
Absolutely.
We'll put Joe in his place. Next, here on the Blitz
Okay,
on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio Sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chungla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by England, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. I'm one of 5 million active members. I play every day because you know why? It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because I get to use my knowledge and apply it to win some serious money. And as a player, they invented FlexPay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your pick don't hit. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with just as simple 4 correct picks. It is that easy to play. You can have fun. It's simple. It's a great playing experience, and you can use your knowledge. How well is Tyreek Hill going to do this week? How is Dak Prescott going to play? If you know, you go play. It's Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code Alamo and get $50 instantly when you play. That's code Alamo on Prize Picks. You get $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
After a total renovation of their greens, Olympia Hills invites you to their grand relaunch event the weekend of September 13th. Olympia Hills has renovated all 18 greens to enhance your golfing experience. Come and enjoy the dramatic elevation changes and a layout that's been strategically designed for your enjoyment. Follow on social media for updates and witness the transformation of your favorite course. Discover premier golfing in Bexar County with the grand relaunch the weekend of September 13th. Book your tee time now at OlympiaHillsGolf.com.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
How about them Cowboys? Jim Beam, bringing fans together across Cowboys country. We rise as one in Texas in handed-down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam highballs on game day in Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1, and literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card so it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
Your neighbors at El Guacamole Mexican Grill on 25020 Blanco Road are ready to serve you breakfast or lunch fresh. Made to order Mexican dishes or cold drinks on tap. Order today or visit El Guacamole Mexican Grill on 25020 Blanco Road.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. The Aggies take on the Notre Dame Leprechauns, presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pregame at 5:30 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I wonder if Mother Football heard that promo. It's great. It is the Blitz. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Mix. The great and distinguished alum from Texas A&M, Shireen Williams, joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Did you get a chuckle out of that?
I did.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I don't know. We don't know who did that, Shireen, to be fully transparent, but we're applauding that every time it happens.
That's good. Yes, y'all made my day.
Good, good. A lot of guys' days were not made as they got the bad news. No real surprises, I think, from the Cowboys on their cuts. I mean, a couple, the trade with Hendershot to Kansas City could work out pretty good. I haven't been a fan of Josh Ball for a while, so seeing him leave doesn't break my heart. But the running back position is still a lot of questions. Dalvin Cook in for a meeting today in a workout, apparently in good shape, but the meeting's over. They didn't sign him, but they did release Freeman and Malik Davis. When we were in Oxnard, the way Stephen Jones was talking about Freeman, you thought he might be the opening day starter, which is comical, but what went on in that running back battle at camp that what we have right now is what we have?
Well, I've still said all along that the starter's not on their roster, the longtime starter this season, whether that's a trade or a signing before the season starts or picking up one of these running backs. Several good running backs got cut today. Matt Breida was one of them. There are a bunch who got cut that might interest the Cowboys, but they've got to upgrade that room at some point. As I've talked about before, they tried this receiver by committee a few years ago, and they ended up in the middle of the season. This isn't working. Let's go trade for Amari Cooper. So I could see that happening too if this is the route they want to go. I just don't know how you carry Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook on your roster and neither one plays special teams. And by the way, Deuce Vaughn can't play special teams. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out for the Cowboys because none of those three guys can play special teams if Dalvin Cook is the way they want to go. So I don't know what they're doing here. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me, but their moves at running back haven't made sense to me since they let Tony Pollard leave and free agency guy. They haven't filled the position. So they're basically without a running back. There's no question it's the worst running back room in the league. You can look at several teams, including the Dolphins right off the top of my head, who have 4 or 5 running backs who are better than any on the Cowboys.
You know, Shireen, which leads to a question, and I am curious about this. I know Mike McCarthy has said before they want to establish the run, but they never seem to do that. It always and I know Kellen Moore was blamed for that before he left, but even last year, Dak threw the football quite a bit. It seems to me that maybe the running game is almost a forgotten thing in Dallas, and they just want to throw the football around.
Yeah, but you still got to have a running game. And if they're going to play on the road in Green Bay or somewhere, you know, in the north that's outside, Chicago would be a possibility. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. But if you're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs where it's cold, now there's places that, you know, San Francisco's not going to be that cold and all that. And it could be raining if you're talking about a playoff game. Detroit has a dome. So, you know, Eagles is going to be outside. You're going to have to run the ball. But so to me, when you have to run the ball is in December and January is when you really want to be able to run the football, burn out the clock. It's important if you've got the lead to be able to run and run. You just can't keep relying on the pass. So your premise, I agree with. That's what they want to do. But there've got to be times when you run the football either to burn time or, like I said, in December, January, when the weather's not conducive, the field conditions are bad, and you have to be able to run the ball to move the ball to try to score. So I don't know what their plan was. I don't know that they had a plan, first of all, for the running back position, but whatever it was, I don't like it personally. Maybe it works out for them, but as it stands right now, and from what I've said since the day Tony Pollard left, I don't like the running backs that they have. I still think they'll end up with somebody else who's not on the roster right now as the starting running back at some point this season.
Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Dalvin Cook at least has a big name, but I think between him and Zeke, you get half a tank. Frank Gore Jr. released today by Buffalo. I of all the running backs that were released today, he's the one that I kind of like the most because he's young. I saw him a little bit in college, saw him play in the Alamo Dome against UTSA. The idea of a young running back that's hungry versus an old running back that we already have one of those. Do you think the Cowboys would look at a guy like Frank Gore Jr., even though he got released, and you go, okay, was it just a numbers game in Buffalo? But would they go that route as opposed to a veteran guy like Dalvin Cook? Is there some NFL stuff with vetting guys and whatnot that might come into play that none of us are thinking about?
Yeah, well, what I think they can do is put a couple of those young guys who were cut on the practice squad, and they are able to play special teams. You find those guys who have played special teams, who are good at special teams, and that's the guys you put on the practice squad and see if you can develop them as running backs. That's what I think they'll do, and that's what they should do. You know, maybe Royce Freeman, again, if you're going to sign Dalvin Cook, you're not going to have Royce. You're not going to have 3 veteran running backs. You're just not. So I think Royce Freeman is kind of out of that picture. But Malik Davis may be a guy you sign back to the practice squad. But I wouldn't be opposed to them having 2 or 3 running backs on the practice squad to be able to bring those guys up in situations, play them on special teams if they can play special teams. That to me is the big problem right now on the roster. The way it's designed is running backs can't play special teams. You need running backs who can play special teams behind a veteran starter who's obviously not going to play special teams. And again, Dalvin Cook isn't that guy.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward when it comes to the running back spot. There was good news, obviously. CeeDee Lamb got his deal done, and he's back in the fold. And, well, I tell you what, it was getting a little dire there for a minute, Shireen.
Yeah, and, you know, it comes less than 2 weeks before the start of the season. So, you know, time is of essence now. He can – we've seen the videos. He works hard, no doubt about it. But as McCarthy said yesterday, as I've repeatedly said, there's just you can't get in football shape in a gym. You just can't. You got to get in football shape playing football, and he hasn't done that. And now practice some in the off season with Dak. That's great, but he hasn't played football since the end of last season. He hasn't practiced football since the end of last season. That's not the same thing. Running routes and throwing with Dak. You worry about, obviously, the soft tissue injuries, the hamstrings and the quads and all those sorts of things. You've got to be very careful. You got to have him on a pitch count. And is he going to have to be on a pitch count week 1? They're going to find that out. But you've got to be very, very careful to bring him back and just throw him in. I looked up. Zeke signed a week later. He signed on September 3rd. With the week of the season opener, he played 35 plays in the opener. So I'm not sure that CeeDee Lamb's going to be ready to play a full game, and they've got to be careful with that coming back. But yeah, this is something we all could have predicted as soon as Justin Jefferson signed his deal, what the deal was going to be. And in fact, kudos to David Hellman of Fox, who predicted that day exactly the numbers that the deal was going to be. So they could have gotten this done the day after Justin Jefferson's deal. They didn't want to do it for whatever reason, and so they're here, and they finally get him in. But is it too late to really be effective in week 1? We're going to find that out.
It's going to be interesting, but it is done well, not well before the season, but he's ready. He's not going to miss any regular season games. The one thing that I haven't seen yet, are they waiving all his fines? They do him a solid there, or is Jerry going to send him a big old bill?
Well, Jerry talks tomorrow. I assume that they'll waive the fines. The veterans, you can't waive the fines. So a guy like Hassan Reddick, who is holding out, Randy Gregory was an example of that in Tampa. Those fines cannot be waived. Zach Martin last year, fines could not be waived. But if you're in your rookie deal, fines can be waived. So his fines can be waived. I assume they will do that. There's no reason to collect those fines from him. So I'm sure they'll do that. But that'll be a good question to ask Jerry Jones tomorrow at his press conference.
That's always a lot of fun. Let me ask you about the offensive line, because it looks like, Shireen, that we're going to have a couple of rookies starting week 1 on that offensive line. And I tell you what, I don't know about you, but both of those guys in the preseason were extremely impressive. Of course, I'm talking about Beebe and Guyton.
Yeah, they were. And they held up well. And there's not a bigger test in the NFL than Guyton's going to face in week 1. And they move Myles Garrett around, so you never know when you're going to get him or not have him. And I'm sure he's hoping he plays a lot over Terrence Steele, but he's going to get a big dose of him, especially to start, and see how he holds up against Myles Garrett. And I'm sure they'll give him some help, at least initially, to see how he holds up with Myles. But there's not a bigger test. The reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, week 1, welcome to the NFL. That's your welcome right there. But they did both play very, very well, very impressive in the preseason with what both of them did. And Beebe converting to center was probably the most impressive, just because it's not a position that he had played in a game before. And to do that as quickly as he did is outstanding. So I know they're really fired up about what they found in those 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as I said, the day they brought Zeke back, his blocking ability might be his best asset. And you got to protect Dak Prescott, especially if you give him that kind of money. Now that the CeeDee Lamb deal is done, when do you think Dak gets a deal? And if he becomes a free agent, how many teams do you think would be lined up to give him a boatload of money next March?
I think the Cowboys at some point, I think they'll do it before the start of the season. They will give Dak their best deal. This is our best deal. This is the best we can do right now. Take it, leave it, and he'll make a decision. None of us know what Dak's thinking is. If he wants to become a free agent, he can become a free agent. So that number's probably going to have to start with the $60 million a year if they want to sign him now. And if not, then I think he's headed to free agency, and whether he gives the Cowboys a call back or not, Kirk Cousins promised to do that same thing. Saquon Barkley promised to do that same thing. And of course they both left, but they're, with the Cowboys, it's the Cowboys. So whoever else you're looking at is not the Cowboys. There's much more off the field stuff that comes with being the Cowboys quarterback as opposed to being the quarterback somewhere else. We all know that. That's just reality. The second thing is there's no state income tax in the state of Texas. So if you're looking for, other states where there's state income tax, that makes a difference too. So maybe he comes back to the Cowboys and says, here's the best offer. And I heard, Mike Lombardi say, who's going to line up for him? Just tell me who. Well, I think there are going to be teams that are going to be bidding for Dak Prescott. We don't know how the season's going to play out, but as of right now, I think you'd have to say the Giants are probably going to be looking for a quarterback among teams. The Titans very well could be looking for. You'd have a handful. We always know that you're going to have a handful of teams that are going to be looking for a quarterback who are not going to have a high draft pick, who need a quarterback. And if you don't have a high draft pick, you're not getting that quarterback in the draft. So you're going to go try to either trade for one or find one in free agency. And he'd be at the top of the line, the guy you're going to try to get if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a high pick.
I hear where you're coming from, Shireen, but I kind of agree with Lombardi. And look, I think there will be some teams, but I mean, he adds a set of problems when it comes to the salary that he's going to command. And it's going to have to be a team that can fit all that in and put a team around him, which I think is in some ways what the Cowboys are facing right now.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And that's why he hadn't signed yet. That's why the offer hasn't gotten up to $60 million yet. And we don't know what the salary cap's going to climb up to either, how much it's going to increase for next year. So that could make a difference too. What percent of that cap is his salary? But look, Cowboys, he's going to count $40 million against the Cowboys salary cap next year, whether he's on the roster or not. So you should try to put your best offer before him over the next week, whatever that is, and say, this is it. This is our best offer. I'd probably go somewhere, 55 is the top. I'd probably go somewhere around 58. And most of it's going to have to be guaranteed money, maybe, I don't know, 150 million, 160 million guaranteed, whatever it is. But that's the offer, whatever that is. I would put that out there to him and say, this is our best offer. We're not going to negotiate again. This is it. And see if he takes it or if he wants to head to free agency. Cowboys have never lost a player that they truly wanted to keep. People can point to DeMarco Murray. They had a number in mind for DeMarco Murray. And that number, the number of guaranteed, I think it was 12 million guaranteed that they offered him, was less than the per year average. I think whatever it was, the Eagles offered way more. So they had an upset number for them. They didn't care about losing DeMarco Murray. Yes, they wanted to keep him, but every other player that they've wanted to keep, they've kept. So this to me is the first one that could potentially. They want to keep him, but potentially they could lose him because it's not their decision. It's his decision. They had offered $60 million and he could turn it down. And if that's the case, he's hitting free agency in March. Now, I don't think he'd turn down $60 million a year, but I'm saying it's his decision. It's not the Cowboys' decision.
And that part is true. And I do think there's some truth on the both sides. Jerry does have a walkaway price with Dak Prescott, kind of like he did with DeMarco Murray, because he's the only one that you could say, well, but I'm with you. They didn't really want to keep him, and certainly not for that price. Going to be interesting. Next week when we talk, it's going to be game week. Cannot wait. Shireen Williams, always appreciate it. And enjoy the Aggies game on Saturday.
Thank you, guys.
Go Aggies.
The great Shireen Williams on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, Call AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121 or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. Cut day is done. What do the Cowboys' final 53 look like?
And let's look at the other 31 teams, see if any of their trash could be Dallas's treasure. We'll talk about it at 6. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
When you are just craving something salty and packs a crunch, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds is your crunch time decision. Game day just got a whole lot crunchier thanks to the powerhouse snack, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. We're talking about crispy, golden bites of pure awesomeness. Pork rinds are your MVP snack. And get this, they're low carb and high in protein, so you can keep the energy high without the guilt. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Grab yourself a bag of Southern Recipe Pork Rinds at HEB today.
Hear that? Want to elevate your game day experience? Head on over to 49 Cigars at the Village of Stone Oak and Suite 101 and enjoy a selection of premium cigars and lively atmosphere perfect for cheering on your favorite team. Visit 49 Cigars today, 49cigars.com.
Dive into the Marvel Universe on the official Marvel Podcast. We're going behind the scenes with the creators behind Marvel Comics, the stars of the MCU, and Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige.
But if you want the real answer, if we're trying to get real on this podcast,
celebrate the legacy of your favorite Marvel adventures and characters. The official Marvel Podcast.
I think this show's going to be a real treat.
New episodes every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Congressman Joaquin Castro. Here in Military City, USA, we're proud to stand by our veterans. Every year, my office is honored to help San Antonio veterans and military families with delayed benefits, claims, and service questions. Just know that if you need a hand, we're here for you. Call 210-348-8216 or visit castro.house.gov/help to learn more. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6. What's the latest with the Cowboys? And are they even ready for the season? It's all right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yeah. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Ryan Engel. I'm Jason Minnick. In our conversation with Shereen Williams, when she was talking about Deuce Vaughn, saying he's not a special teams guy. He's a return guy.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be on the kickoff unit going down and making a tackle, on the punt unit going down and making a tackle. And a lot of times those guys, they play on all 4 or 5 if you look at field goal units, special teams units. He's basically down to 1. So he doesn't count as a core special teams guy, which generally when you hear he's a core special teamer, those are all the plays that he's involved in.
Yeah.
And Deuce Vaughn doesn't qualify for that.
Right. But expect him to return
Yes.
kickoffs and or punts and who knows what else.
Absolutely. Our Fall Golf Classic's coming up September 30th. Get your foursome in. You can get registered at sasportstar.com. It's $400 a player if you sign up with a foursome. If you don't have three other friends and you sign up as an individual, it's $120 per person. The Fall Golf Classic benefiting San Antonio sports, presented by the law office of Jesse Hernandez, also sponsored by Flight by Yingling and Jim Beam. Again, September 30th out at Olympia Hills.
You think we got some people out there listening to us, whether on Facebook or on the radio, they don't have any friends?
Judging by some of the comments, I'm guessing a lot of these people don't have friends. Kid.
If I could play with you, I would. You can sign me up, but I can't play.
Well, and that's it. If you're not sure of your four friends right now, or three friends,
you might make some.
Well, I mean, but some people will, and we've seen this, and quite honestly, I think some people were a little pissy that, and like I was trying to get all my four guys together, and then you sold out. All right. If you've got friends that won't commit because, life, you could still sign up and just not have all their names. And then as we get closer to the tournament, when you do fill in your foursome, Nick or somebody will reach out and we'll get those names. But we've dealt with this. Well, I wasn't sure about the two guys or one guy, and so I didn't get signed up, and then you're sold out, man. And they're mad at us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get your friends to commit early, or just get your foursome signed up, pay the $400. Make sure if you sign up for somebody and you're fronting the money, that you've got a friend that you can get that $100 back from. It's not that complicated.
Well, it's not, but you got to have a friend that make sure you get the money back.
Well, and we all have a friend that won't pay back.
Yeah, we
don't invite that guy. I mean, it's not complicated.
Right.
It's not complicated.
It's gonna be fun. Get on out there.
Gonna be
always is, man. It's always a lot of fun.
Always a great time. It's usually a great time is when you're at a amusement park.
Yeah.
Riding rides and roller coasters. Man, it's got to be right up there with fears that you don't think about. Now, I don't know if the rules are different in Mexico than they are, say, here. But at Six Flags Mexico, there are some people that were on this ride. And it's one of those rides that puts you high in the air, but you're like in a swing.
Yeah.
So your feet are dangling. And a massive storm rolls in, and then the ride stops. So now you're stuck on this ride higher than the roller coaster. I mean, this looks like it's, I don't know, 1 million feet in the air or something.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I'm looking at the video right now.
It's crazy.
And the storm rolls in, and these people, because they're on like a swing, they're dangling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're way too much dangling going on there. So, and the storm rolls in, and what's crazy is they're above the roller coaster, which looks stupid high. The roller coaster's still going with people in it during this massive thunderstorm that rolls in.
Well, apparently it knocked out some of the electricity just to the swings and then a couple of other things, and not everything. But the problem is they were stuck up there for about 10 minutes. And they finally got them down. The storm got worse.
It got worse.
So they had to. It's a good thing they got them down because the storm got worse.
Heavy rain and high wind, and you're on a roller coaster. Now, again, the rules in Mexico might be different, but somebody had to know on the radar that a storm is coming.
Well, you would think so.
And then you shut down the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they were just trying to? Yeah, all right, well, these people are here. They're standing in line. All right, go up. This might be the last one. You're beating the storm.
Didn't want to disappoint.
No injuries
which
reported.
Was nice. I mean, that's a good thing.
No, I don't know if there was a lot of cleanup that had to be done after that, but no injuries were reported.
I'd have been puking.
Puking?
High winds, rain, probably lightning coming down.
I'm more worried about the other end.
Yeah, well,
puking.
that too. I would be both.
Oh, man. Let's do our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Casey Tabor joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. No injuries on that ride, Doc, that got stuck in the bad weather of roller coaster ride. Do you guys see roller coaster injuries?
I'm sure I've seen a couple, but none of them stick out to me. I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff going on a roller coaster unless they get thrown out, and then they're usually not in my office. It may be something worse, and they need to see an orthopedic surgeon for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they could be on your office when you're using cadaver parts.
Well, that's true. I haven't checked the cause of death on some of these, so I guess it could be.
When you get cadaver parts, do you know that? Like, man, this was Joe. He's 62. He died of idiocy. I mean, that, you know, do you get that, or you just get whatever part you're looking for that comes in a cooler?
Yeah, no, you do get that stuff. It's not. I'm not the one that's managing that stuff. I'm usually teaching courses and you know, showing somebody how to operate or do something on the cadaver. And so, but the people who actually procure it and then bring it in and manage all that, there's very strict rules on how to use it. You do have to know where it's from. I don't know the exact detail, but they also give you, usually if there's any infectious things you have to worry about, and various information on the person.
All right, Doc, let's go from dead people to a guy that's very much alive. CeeDee Lamb finally signed his deal, and all I'm hearing is concern for CD because he wasn't at training camp. He hasn't played any football since, 8 months ago. He didn't play much there either. At least he was on the field. However, soft tissue injuries, Doc, is that a concern for a guy like CeeDee Lamb?
Well, I think that all stems on how well he stayed in shape. I saw some information on some of the last few receivers that have held out over the last few years, and they all seem to have come back really strong with no major issues and kind of picked up where they left off. So I don't foresee that being a big issue. Like I always say, these guys are professionals. They know that's their everyday job, is to stay healthy and in shape and be ready to go. And most of the professional athletes are in tip-top shape and have been working out with the expectation that they would get the deal done, which they did on him. So I don't foresee that being a major issue. Always there's some hits and bumps and bruises that happen in the beginning that he hadn't been able to do over the last couple of weeks. But I would suspect you'll see him jump right back in and be back at 100% pretty quickly.
Dr. Casey Tabor joining us here on the Blitz for our weekly injury update. Deron Bland actually had the surgery, is it today or yesterday? Anyway, stress fracture in his foot. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. He said he was just experiencing foot discomfort, and then they did the imaging, and that revealed the stress fracture. What is a stress fracture in your foot, and what surgery do you do to fix it?
Yeah, so usually a stress fracture is from overuse. So they're, just from practicing every day, there can be little micro traumas, meaning small little injuries that accumulate over a period of time that result in the stress fracture. But a fracture is if you shoot an X-ray, there's not a true fracture line. But if you get an MRI, all the little what we call trabecula, which are the little spicules inside of bone, the kind of the spongy bone, starts to become swollen and inflamed, and it hurts. And so, and you can see some stress onto the hard bone that you can't see on an X-ray that you can see on an MRI. And so, if it's a stress fracture, what you can do is put a screw across the middle of the bone. That's usually what we do on feet, is put a screw right down the center of the bone. And that does two things. Number one, it stimulates a growth process and a healing process that starts going. And then the second thing that it does is it provides stability across where that bone is irritated. So it makes it more rigid so that it can heal quicker. So what that will do is usually they'll keep him off a few weeks, and then they'll let him start running and getting back in. So hopefully he's back ready to play at 6 to 8 weeks. The other way to treat him is to put him in a boot for 3 months. But if you put him in a boot for 3 months and hold him off of all exercises, he's probably not going to come back this year. So you or me, who don't play sports, would probably be treated with a boot. But somebody who's going to stand to lose $4 million a year, or $5 million, or $6 million a year because he misses 1 year of playing, it's a big financial burden on him. So we'll typically treat athletes a little bit differently to try and get them back on the field quicker.
Well, Dr. Tabor, that brings up an interesting thing because like a stress fracture, if you break your leg, obviously you know you've broken your leg. But with a stress fracture like this, is that something that comes over time? And would he have, you think, felt some discomfort leading up to it and just said, it's nothing, and it just kind of got worse?
Yeah, usually it's something that comes, it's not one traumatic event, like you step in a hole and you break your ankle, or Terrell Owens, you remember when he got hit and twitched and immediately grabbed his leg? Like he knew exactly on that injury that he broke his ankle. These are usually repetitive things, and they start with milder symptoms and mild pain, maybe a little bit of swelling, and then they just try and push through it, and it just gets worse and worse and worse to the point where they start to limp and they can't either push off. Usually on the foot, they don't have the push off or the twist or a turn that a defensive back needs, and so they have to do something. They MRI it and see the stress fracture there.
With the high school football season starting this weekend, first game's on Thursday and, of course, Friday, Saturday. You guys always get busy this time of year with all the different orthopedic injuries. If there's a dad, a mom listening right now and kid game on Friday doesn't go very well, what's the first steps that you recommend somebody do when an injury does happen in a game?
Well, obviously, your most common injuries in football these first few weeks are usually little sprains and strains, ankle sprains, contusions and bruising over the hands. If you're running back, getting carried, linebackers, you get hit, stepped on. And so most of the time it's simple. It's mostly icing it as soon as it happens, or oral anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen and Motrin. Most of the schools nowadays have a trainer. Let your trainer take a look at it. They can handle 90% of them. And if they're something that they think is over the top or is something that's unusual that needs more, they'll usually have you see typically an orthopedic surgeon to get a better judge of what's going on.
Yeah, and then you guys have that new Hurt app they can download, the Ortho Now Injury Clinic, lots of different things. Dr. Casey Tabor, always appreciate the knowledge and the insight.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good afternoon, and go Tigers.
The LSU, you had to get that in. Good stuff. I won't repeat that.
Come on. I'm going to get you over on our side at one point.
No. And then we're in the same conference now, so now hook them.
Wow.
All right. Well, at least you're not saying gig 'em. I'll take hook 'em over gig 'em.
Oh, wow.
See, there you go. That's Rob Thompson is now mad at you, but go ahead. Good stuff. Appreciate you.
All right. No worries. Have a good day.
Our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Tabor, a former LSU football player.
You couldn't tell. Right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I forgot about that game. USC LSU in Vegas this weekend.
So maybe it is Go Tigers. I hate USC.
Well, I don't like them either.
No, that's just the game where you just watch and have a good time. We've got some tickets to give away to close out the show.
How about that?
I don't know what concert you heard Rob Thompson talking about going to next Wednesday, because he got all the names wrong. All of them. I mean, all of them. And I heard from a lot of you that were listening in the morning, hearing Rob talk about how Jerry Cantrell now sings for Candlebox. And I think at one point he might have called him Chris Cornell, who's, not with us anymore. It is Jerry Cantrell, who is in the band Alice in Chains. He's doing his own thing. Bush is headlining. Candlebox is there. Their lead singer's Kevin Martin, who went to MacArthur. Jerry Cantrell never went to high school here. But whatever. It's going to be a good time next Wednesday. We've got a pair of tickets to give away right now. Since Pledge has a show to do in 4 minutes, we'll give him to caller 4, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 4. You're going to go see Bush, Jerry Cantrell, and Candlebox next Wednesday out at Freeman Coliseum.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM, Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of